Yeah, 1 2 1 2. Hey yo, AC. 1 2 1 2. Mic check. Hey, can y'all hear me out there? Hey. Against all odds. 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 Against all odds.
The podcast.
Shout out to Rockhound Detroit Lions, man. My pride.
All right. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Rise and Grind Morning Show. I'll be your host today, along with Eric Rintamaki. Do us a quick favor if you guys have just stumbled upon this channel and you'd like to stick around for the season to watch your Detroit Lions capture the hearts of America once again on their road to the Super Bowl, which clearly I think a lot of us think is going to happen this year, then hit that subscribe button, toggle on notifications so that you know when we're going live, as well as when we drop new content. Of course, we'd love to have you guys with us. I think it's going to be an epic season. I think that we got some really good things ahead of us, and we want to share that with you. So join us, subscribe to us, be with us as we'll be with you during this season. We'll be right back here in 15 seconds. We're going to kick off today with predictions. What's going to happen this season? How many wins are we going to get? How many teams are we going to smoke? How many teams are we going to barely win against? And which teams do we think maybe we're not going to win against? I know it didn't happen a whole lot last year, but this is a different season. We'll see you back here in 15 seconds. All right. Good morning, Eric. How are you?
Fantastic. It's Monday.
Hey, it's week 1, man. We're here. We made it.
Yes.
I don't know how, but we made it.
I am all ready for Lambeau. Got my tickets, got my place to stay, everything. I'm ready to go.
You know, I was reading one of the articles this morning, actually it was last night, that they were doing some predictions too. There was another channel out there that was popping some stuff. Actually, I think it was SI, and they had us losing in week 1.
Mm-hmm.
Is Parsons really that big of a factor in week 1, going to a new team, new scheme, less than a week to learn everything? Is he really that big of a factor? I don't think so. What changed? They went from potentially last in the NFC North to potential Super Bowl winners because of Parsons. How dumb does that sound? Right? How dumb does that sound? It just doesn't make any sense. Clearly, I think the narratives are still there, right? People think that you're one player away and they think it's an edge rusher. Look, it's not what it's all cracked up to be. And I think you're going to see that week 1. I think you're going to see that throughout the entire season for the Packers. He's not going to be able to totally change the landscape of a team in 1 week, let alone this season. I think it's, I don't know. What do you think?
Well, the Packers went from being a plus 2,000 team to win in the Super Bowl to plus 1,400. They still are not up with the Lions. The Lions were at plus 1,100 in what I saw. And as far as betting goes, betting is what sways the lines out in Vegas. And more people are betting the Packers now to win the NFC North. So the odds have swung in their favor to win the NFC North. But that's just because a bunch of people went and threw down a bunch of money on the Packers to win the division now that they have Parsons. That's all that means. That doesn't mean Vegas has changed their mind on the Packers. It means that bettors have swayed the numbers in their favor. So they went from plus 2 something to win the division to plus 165 now. So
I'm not so much worried about the betting odds. It's the national narrative. I have listened to, God, I don't know, a dozen or so major media outlets that immediately turned tail on the Packers from worst to first. And I just don't understand it. We're going to hear from Chris Sims this morning, And the goal this week is Timothy Brandon should be coming on Thursday. And he's going to, I think Thursday. I think that's the date. He'll probably bless us with a little bit of an outlook. Obviously, he's a coach out in California. He's going to give us his thoughts, Lion fan out in California. And he's also doing some writing too. So we'll have him tell you guys where you can catch his writing too, so we can see what he's talking about. And I noticed I read some stuff yesterday of his, and he like we kind of write alike. I think it's fun when you see similar minds write. Like I write very long tail stuff, right? Very long articles because I'm going deep into stuff, right? And analytics and metrics and all kinds of stuff. Whereas the majority of articles out there, it's like the same thing printed 10 or 12 times at every single news outlet. They're not going deep into anything. And that's where I'm different, right? That's where Timothy Brandon's a little bit different, is we try to go deep into the things. Like he's a coach's mind, right? That's what he's providing you, is a coach's mind. I'm an analytical mind. So I kind of give you a different taste. It's not for everybody, but I think once you get a few bites of it, then you start to understand why I do what I do. So where I was going with that is all 22 should be on this week. That's the goal. He's going to give us his nuts and bolts about the Detroit Lions, his take. I gave him like 4 questions, 4 things to think about. This offensive overhaul, right? The defensive structure, and where does he think that's going? The overall view, of the team this year, and hopefully we can make these dates work for us this week, whether it's, AM or PM, it doesn't matter. I just want to make sure we can make it happen, because he does a ton of work. Now he's a Baltimore Ravens fan that also likes and enjoys the Lions. So he provides a ton of good content on his channel. All 22_films on YouTube, and I believe Twitter. So check them out if you haven't already. I'm sure 99% of you already have. So that's kind of the goal this week. Obviously, this week is going to be our first trial run at getting ready for the season, right? You would think that we've done it now for 3 years, or at least I have. Second season for Eric. But some nuances. There's going to be some differences this year. We're going to evolve a little bit. There's going to be some different segments. I'll be sharing with you, as we get rolling. But between now and next week, there's going to be a big change. I'll just tell you that, so that I can get everything finalized. I'm a little bit behind this year, so we'll see where it goes. But I'm ready, man. I think we're gonna have some fun today. We're gonna get through predictions and some other things. But big headline over the weekend. Big headline. I think it came out Friday. Was it about Morton? Was it Friday?
I think so. Yeah, because David Burkett broke it.
Yeah. Just a quick check. I'm going to check audio while you're doing that. So why don't you run us through this whole thing about John Morton, and then I'll jump back in. Just remember, pause for a few seconds in between so that I can get things started and get out of the scene before you start. So John Morton, here you go.
All right. Get up here. John Morton, apparently this weekend, it came out from Dave Burkett at the Free Press that John Morton had turned down multiple offers to come to the Detroit Lions. So he chose the Detroit Lions over other coaching jobs. And how did Detroit win the coach bidding war for Johnny Morton? The new Detroit Lions offensive coordinator, John Morton, was a highly sought after coach this offseason, turning down multiple offers to come to Detroit. Morton was pursued by the Bears head coach, Ben Johnson, to join him in Chicago, and by Sean Payton in Denver, who wanted him to remain with him in Denver. Head coach Dan Campbell praised Morton as a creative, behind-the-scenes grinder who is not ambitious to become a head coach and simply loves to coach offensive football. So that's something different right there. I'd never heard that Morton didn't want to become a head coach. And after consulting with confidants in the coaching world, the consensus was that Detroit was the right fit for Morton. And Morton ultimately chose the Lions, taking over the coordinator role for the NFL's highest scoring offense from 2004. So he turned down jobs from Chicago and from Denver to stay in Detroit, where he helped build this offense back in 2021, 2022. So it's nice to have him back, and it says something that he wanted to come back and take over something that he helped create instead of going somewhere else.
I find this interesting that this comes out now, right? Well, why didn't this come out 4 months ago, 5 months ago, 6 months ago when he was hired? There had to have been conversation. Like, has someone really been sitting on this for 6 months? You know what I mean? And then you drop it the week before. You know, I don't. Did you say Dave Burkett dropped this?
Yeah, it came out from Dave Burkett at the Free Press.
We know 100% he was the first person to write it.
Yeah, it was on Twitter and everything.
So my question is, like, doesn't this, the timing of the beginning of the season, you have enough pressure, right, to get rolling. You have enough pressure. You know, you're going through your first week, big matchup, big changes with Parsons, new offensive coordinator, and then you drop this? Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just too nice of a dude, but like, if I was sitting on something that could potentially be damning to John Morton or whatever, I mean, I think it's powerful that John Morton stayed, right? I think that tells you enough right there, that he had enough respect for Dan Campbell, obviously, that he wanted to come here. And I'm not surprised that the little snake that Ben Johnson was gonna try to steal away, you know, John Morton. And I guess hearing, you know, more of the article is Dan was not surprised. He expected Ben to probably get a hold of him to bring him in. I think that tells you a lot about John Morton. If the so-called, you know, mastermind or mixologist, as I call him, Ben Johnson, thought that highly of John Morton, that John Morton could run and execute his offense. Well, has anybody ever stopped to think for one moment that this might be more of John Morton's offense that was installed in 2021 when he was here with the Lions than less thereof, that it's more Ben Johnson's? I think Ben Johnson is an executor, right? And what I mean by that is he executes. I'm sure he has great creativity, you know, and things of that nature, but I guess I view this offense from the perspective that Dan Campbell orchestrated a lot of this. John Morton orchestrated a lot of this in the beginning. Ben Johnson put his fingerprints on it. Maybe a few changes here and there, whatever. But I feel like he more executed a game plan, executed an offensive scheme. They ramped up the wrinkles, you know, every season. But I don't know. I guess unless Dan Campbell sat down with me one-on-one and said 90% of what that offense was Ben Johnson, I'll never believe it. I'll never believe it. I think that Dan Campbell is more involved in this than what people give him credit to be.
And something everyone seems to forget, I don't know why, when Anthony Lynn was fired, Dan Campbell took over the play calling. He didn't give it to Ben Johnson. It was not Ben Johnson. For a season and a half, it was not Ben Johnson. It wasn't until the end of that second season that he was like, okay, here's the reins. Now you can take it. Now you understand what I'm trying to do. Now it's your turn. And then in that next season is when he started doing the trick plays and all that kind of stuff, you know, putting his flair on it, putting his stamp of approval on it. But I don't think Ben Johnson fully took this over for well more than a season. It was a mutual thing with him and Dan Campbell, especially that first full year. And that first season when Anthony Lynn got fired, I don't think Ben Johnson had much at all to do with it. He was just helping.
Yeah, so we kind of know a timeline with that. Now, it's never really been fully confirmed by anybody in Detroit, but that I know of. like I have never heard strictly from somebody that Lynn was fired, right? Dan Campbell took it over. And I want to say it was about week 8 of that season, 2022, right? It's 2022. Yeah, 2022.
Mm-hmm.
That Dan was still calling the plays. And then at that point, it was slowly migrated over to Ben Johnson. And I would say that 23 was his first full season. It wasn't 2022. I mean, Ben was involved, very early, but I think that Dan was, again, my opinion, my speculation, probably testing the waters. Could he handle it? I don't think anyone's ever doubted Ben's mind. Either he has everybody fooled in the NFL that he is this extremely intelligent, offensive guru, or he's just gotten extremely lucky working for some really good people with let's just be real here, an all-star cast of coaches and assistants. I don't know of another team in the NFL that, there's a couple, but I don't really know of that many outside of maybe the Eagles, the Chiefs. You could now say the Bears, the way that they're starting to get set up, that have this all-star cast of former players as coaches and assistants. That, to me, speaks volumes of the type of character and intelligence that they're bringing to the table, right? Because they've been there, done that. You played 10 years in the league, right? And now you're coaching. You're bringing all of that with you, everything that you learned, things that you didn't do well. Now you can turn around and coach it. Like they always say, if you can't do it, you coach it, right? So if you can't play the game, you coach it. Now we have guys that have played the game and coached it. It's a totally different dynamic than just hiring some guy that went to college, to focus on sports and then became a coach. Very few and far between does that really exist anymore. I think a lot of these guys, come through the ranks of playing the game themselves. There's not that many coaches out there that haven't played, but they haven't played at the highest level, right? And that's the key here. Anytime you get a coach that has lasted longer than 4 or 5 seasons in the NFL, that's pretty hard to do. This is a league that most guys wash out in less than 3 seasons. To go a decade in the NFL, that's extremely tough. I believe Dan Campbell played 10 seasons. So, do me a quick favor, Eric. Could you check your audio? Because
Sure.
You sounded like you're in a fishbowl when I was listening back to it on YouTube. So I don't know if something's changed on your PC or, and it's really soft. And let us know in the chat if you feel the same way. That's just what I heard on my phone.
Nothing that I know of. Everything's still the same on this end.
Your PC is still about 80.
Yep.
And your pads and everything on your Rodecaster are all the same while your
Yep. I haven't changed anything.
Your gain and all that. You haven't turned on the mic or something to your camera by accident?
Nope.
Yeah, so it sounded like you're in a fishbowl.
Weird.
Yeah, you have to go back and listen to it when we're done. So, okay. Up next. Well, we'll get up into predictions here in just a moment. But I guess I want to pivot for just a little bit. Let me look at the sheet here. While I'm going through the sheet, I would like to know in the chat this morning. Obviously, we'll get to what your predictions are when we get to that section too. But just be honest for just a moment. Does Micah Parsons really make that big of a change for the Packers? And you know what I had said last week, and I don't know if anybody really, I don't know if many of you heard what I said, but this is what I said in the media the day that this news broke, and we spoke about it. I said it's kind of odd that he's going from a 3-4 to a 4-3, number one. How are they going to utilize him? And immediately I said, they're not going to put this guy up on the line as a defensive end. That they're going to probably put him back as a 4-3 outside linebacker, as a Sam linebacker. The Sam linebacker position is so hard to find. You remember when Alex Anzalone said, nobody does what I do, right? There's nobody out there doing all the stuff that I'm doing, dropping into coverage, taking care of the run game, getting up on the line. I mean, you name it, he does it. He plays from every position on the field just about. He needs to act as a safety sometimes. He acts as a corner other times. Then he acts as a defensive pass rusher or a box thumper, you name it. I mean, he does everything. The Sam position is so hard to find, and it's very hard to execute. And when you can find guys that can do that, you better hold on to them, right? They're very hard to replace. So Parsons is now going to go from a 3-4 scheme where he was primarily used as an outside linebacker, but Dallas put him up on the line more often than not. So he's now going to be playing from behind the line a little off ball and kind of out, as a Sam linebacker. So it's a little bit of a schematic change for him. So that's my biggest question is, how is that going to impact what he normally does? And so I read, let me see if I can find this real quick. I don't think I saved it. Anywhere, I read somewhere that Micah Parsons now has the front line to Defensive Player of the Year. He's got the front seat. That if he just had a 12-sack season in Green Bay, and if Green Bay makes it to the playoffs, that he's going to be at the top for Defensive Player of the Year. Now, think about that for a moment. 12 sacks. I consistently hear Lions fans saying, Aiden's going to have 20. Aiden's going to have more than 15. What do I always say? 10, 12, 9. Right? You don't need 15, 20 sacks to have a great season. If you get a dozen, that's a damn good season. It's really hard to do. So if everyone, around the league is thinking, man, if he just gets 12, he's going to be the frontline winner to Defensive Player of the Year. Aiden definitely doesn't need 15 or 20 then, right? I think that Aiden has a really good shot this year at either becoming the comeback player of the year or defensive player of the year. I think he has a really good shot at it this year. I think it all hinges on how the Lions win or lose, which I don't think that should be the only, the only thing that gives him an opportunity to win that award. Whether the Lions win a bunch or don't, I think it's how he plays, and that's how it should be. I think it should be his individual performance. But I think he has a really good opportunity to do that this season. What do you think, Eric? Do you think that makes any sense, that if Parsons just has 12 sacks, that he should be Defensive Player of the Year?
I don't. And this whole Parsons being the one piece to put them over the top just doesn't make any sense to me, because how much are you losing in Kenny Clark? And does Parsons not only make up for the loss of Kenny Clark, but then also what he can do himself for his own position? So is he playing two positions on the field? Is he a defensive tackle in their nose tackle position like Kenny Clark, or is he a linebacker, or is he an edge? What position is he playing? Is he playing three positions? Is he playing two? And how are they going to make up for the loss of Kenny Clark? Are they just slapping this rookie kid that they got this year that they think is something special? I don't know. I can't tell you, but their fans seem to think that just adding Micah Parsons is going to be the be all end all. And the media loves it because this is the biggest story heading into the season. It happened right before the season. This never happens. Nobody ever does a big trade right before the season. So this is unprecedented. And of course it was Jerry and Jerry's world, which makes it 20 times even bigger. So listen, I don't think it's going to be all it's cracked up to be. And this smells to me like desperation by Matt LaFleur and Gutekunst. This smells like desperation. These are two guys that knew that the hot seat was coming because they keep making the playoffs, but they don't win a playoff game. If something doesn't happen soon, they're going to be gone. So they better do whatever they can to make this happen. And I feel that this was a desperation move. They're trying to keep up with the Joneses. They want to keep up with the Lions. Well, I don't think it's going to work. I hope this implodes in their face, not only because it's the Packers, but because it's a divisional opponent for us. I think the Lions are built the right way through the draft with minimal free agents.
Well, I will tell you this, there was a conversation surrounding, what are they going to do on edge now? Or are they going to pull, Luca Van Ness out in place of Parsons, put Parsons up there, and that would be dumb, right? I would definitely leave Van Ness, out on the edge and put Parsons right behind him is what I would do. And it sounds like that could be where they're going with this whole thing. What they, what the Cowboys did, after this whole Parsons trade, though, I don't know if you had this on your sheet or not, but what they did instead of retaining Parsons, get this, they signed Deron Bland to a 4-year, $92 million extension. So they spent half the money that they would have spent on Parsons to secure Deron Bland. So this would keep him with the team through 2029. Now, this deal was announced, just a day ago? Yeah, just yesterday, in the 31st. $50 million guaranteed. It makes Deron Bland one of the highest paid corners in the NFL. He was a 5th-round pick in the 2022 draft and set an NFL record in 2023 with 5 interceptions returned for touchdowns. Let's see. His average annual is now $23 million a year. And see, 2024, he played in only 7 games due to a stress fracture in his foot. See, I'm just surprised that they went and did that move versus keeping Parsons. However, it was a smart move. If you look at what the Packers just did, and I know we weren't even supposed to talk about this today, but we'll spend 3 more minutes on it tops. If you look what the Packers did, they just gave away their future in the first round. So when Jordan Love doesn't work out, they have no way to get a top tier quarterback without trading for somebody that's already in the league that maybe they can get a good deal on. Otherwise they're kind of screwed because you don't have a first round pick until 28. No one's going to trade you next year for a 2028 first round pick. If you want to, next year's draft class for quarterback is looking pretty solid. It might mimic the 2024 draft class where you have a bunch going in the first round. But them securing the back end, right, in Deron Bland, what this does for the Cowboys is it also frees that money up to be able to secure other guys and 2 first-round picks that they're going to be able to get some really good football players. I wouldn't even be surprised, if the Dallas Cowboys are competing again here by next season. And the reason why I say that is because those first-round picks, I can guarantee you, if Jerry's still around by then, he's going to invest it into the trenches. He's going to go right back to the offensive line and defensive line. That's what Jerry does. He's always been one of the best at making sure his trenches are good. And I think that's exactly where he's going to go with it. Unless he takes a quarterback to back up, Dak Prescott and tries to move Dak Prescott, which I wouldn't even be surprised if Dak Prescott ends up in Green Bay in a couple of seasons. I'm dead serious. I would not be surprised because I don't think Jordan Love is the answer. I know he's not the answer. I have not seen anything out of this kid that excites me just yet. And I think, there's been enough time for us to see something. But we'll see where it goes. Do you have anything else you want to get into today before we start digging into some of these predictions?
So I got something with the Packers. I might as well do my Packers topic today because you brought up the whole Parsons thing, and the Parsons trade. It's not only going to cost the Packers more, Kenny Clark, And it's not only going to cost them 2 first-round draft picks, this is going to cost them multiple players in the years to come.
Oh, yeah.
And I found this Packer writer and found this article about all the people that are basically on the block now, and they're destined to lose these 5 players. So offensive tackle Rasheed Walker, already facing competition for his starting job, and he is in a contract year, making him a likely departure. And then Christian Watson. Christian has struggled with injuries and has not developed into a true wide receiver 1. He is expected to have a strong contract year this year and price himself out of Green Bay's budget. Well, good luck with that. And then up next, wide receiver Romeo Doubs, their number 1. In the same situation as Watson, he is a quality receiver in a contract year who is expected to command more money on the open market than the Packers can pay. And then linebacker Quay Walker. The Packers have already declined his 5th-year option, signaling he will be allowed to leave in free agency, where he is projected to earn a large contract. And then, get this, another wide receiver, Jaden Reed. While still under contract for 2 more seasons, he is on a trajectory to earn a massive payday that the Packers will likely unable to be able to afford by the time he's due for another extension. So this is what is going to screw the Packers right here. And this is from a Packers writer. This isn't from me. This isn't from someone in the Detroit media. With them losing these 2 first-round picks and paying Parsons all of this money, they are not going to have money to pay 3 of their 4 wide receivers, their starting linebacker, and their starting offensive tackle. They're just not going to have the money to do it. They are going to be crippled for the next 4 years because of this contract. And everybody that I see online is talking about, oh, they can make it fit. Look, it only costs so much against the cap this year and next year and yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, yes, that's fine. You can make it fit. But what are you going to do with everyone else? And all these other people that you need to sign? They're not going to have a single wide receiver. They're going to have to rely on rookies every year. And you know Jordan Love's going to love that, having just nothing but rookie receivers every year. Not all of them are going to be Matthew Golden. It sounds like Matthew Golden can actually catch a ball. So you got to remember, rookie receivers like to put the ball on the ground. And it may be some tough sledding in years to come because of this Micah Parsons trade for the Green Bay Packers.
So it's funny, right? It's the same thing that we hear with our own team. It's only going to cost this much, or we can go out and sign another $50 million edge rusher. It was just $35 million, and it's ballooned up to $47 million in a couple of months, right? No, you can't, because what's going to happen is you're going to end up losing. We did the exercise last week. I started working on it over the weekend. To kind of go through, I've created my own spreadsheet because Spotrac and Over the Cap just were not giving me what I wanted. And I'm telling you, man, it doesn't work. It doesn't. And you said 4 or 5 years for the Packers? No, this is a decade F up. This is a decade. And I say that because what's going to happen, to your point, is you're going to end up losing some players that you can't retain. If you were just on the brink of doing something, you don't even have a wide receiver room right now. You have one guy for the most part. Everyone else is either hurt, right? Or potentially not even going to play this year, or just not that good. But you definitely don't have wide receivers that can go out there and, make a mess of things for a defense. Who's their running back again?
Yeah, Jacobs. Now, I would have been more scared had the Packers brought in Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson. That would have been way scarier to me than Micah Parsons and losing Kenny Clark. As a Lions fan, that would have been much scarier. Someone who could actually catch the ball and win a contested catch.
So Josh Jacobs had a good season last year, right? 1,300 plus yards, 15 TDs. but he was also a lone soldier back there.
Yep,
for the most part, right? So the problem is it doesn't compete with the Lions, and you have two guys that can do it, for one. But two, if he goes down, you're screwed, right? If one more wide receiver goes down, you're done. You have no offense at that point. Defense is not going to win you a championship without an offense. That's the term that people always say, well, defense wins championships. No, it doesn't. It does not. I know that players have said that, coaches have said that, and yes, it will win you a championship if you have an offense that can sustain the defense, right? The defense can go out and make plays. They can turn the ball back over to the offense, but if the offense can't do anything with it, well, then you're kind of screwed, aren't you? So, in my opinion, it's a decade because you're going to lose some players that you can't retain, just like what would happen for the Lions if they would have went out and signed anybody. And how long is it going to take for you to rebuild? Well, you don't have first round picks. So do you think a bunch of second, third, fourth, and fifth, and sixth, and seventh round picks are going to, help you immediately? Man, you'd really have to hit on every pick. Well, what is Gutekunst, in his ability to draft? Like, how good is that? So far, not that great, right? Definitely not as good as Brad Holmes. But you don't even have a first-round pick that you can plug and play immediately in year one. Look at the second-round picks. I mean, not even a lot of second-round picks are able to play right away. Or it takes a season or two. Third-round picks, we know that less than 11% of those start. And it just gets, worse and worse as you get down into the lower, the lower draft picks. So that's why I say it's going to be a decade, because by the time you go out to 2020, so they've lost 26 and 27. By the time they get a first round pick in 2028, how many players have they lost that they have to rebuild with? That's the big thing. But you got Parsons, right? You got Parsons. Yep. You got a one-man band back there that's going to try to do too much. What happens when he gets hurt? And I'm not saying that I want this to happen. I don't want to see any player get hurt. They get paid way too much money, and obviously we want to play teams at their best. I don't want to play teams when they're hurt. That's just the competitive nature in me. But what happens when he gets hurt? Right? You just sunk $188 million into a guy. He misses one season, and that whole deal is busted. Just one season. And you just spend $47 million on what? A guy sitting in rehab? Come on. Like that's the hard part of all of this. That you have to be comfortable with just taking briefcases full of money and throwing it into a bonfire when he gets hurt. I say when, because it's going to happen. It happens to every player out there. They're going to suffer something at some point. He's stayed fairly healthy so far throughout his career. We'll see what happens.
He didn't play in the Lions game last year because his back was going funky on him. And he didn't play in the preseason or any training camp or anything this year because of his back.
Well, he was sitting out.
Yeah. Well, because of his back.
Yeah, but that's a good point, though. Like, okay, what if there is more to the back injury?
Yeah.
Like, what if he has a Levi Onwuzurike type style of, something brewing? What if he has a disc problem? I'm sure that they've done all the scans and they have all the medical reports, and the Packers, maybe they feel comfortable with something, or maybe they're just trying to hedge their bets and hope that he doesn't go down. I don't know enough about his back injury to comment on it, but I guess what I would say is, man, if that happens, if he goes down because of his back, that's going to even look way worse. Did he pass his physical?
He must have. Yeah, you would have heard about it by now if he didn't. And somebody in the chat there earlier says, well, what if Aiden goes down, or if Amon-Ra goes down, then we're screwed too. Well,
not really.
What happened when Aiden went down last year? We went 15-2 without him. So you can't give me that. The Packers don't have the ability. If they lose Parsons in week 5, they're not going 15-2 without him. That team just is not. That's the one thing
they don't have enough depth. And that's what I said last week is they have zero depth behind their starters.
Yeah, all these pundits don't look at it that way, though.
So when was the actual date? I'm trying to remember here. When was the actual date that Parsons the trade broke? Do you remember?
Friday. It must have been Friday, Thursday or Friday. Because that's all we heard about on Friday and Saturday.
Okay, so today's the 1st, 31, 30, 29. Okay, so he did his physical on the 29th. So he must have been traded on Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, he's going to miraculously be okay. Right? So he passed his physical on the 29th, which means he's good to go. Anyway. Anything else you want to get to before we get into this? NFC North report. I see that thing about Caleb Williams. It's kind of interesting. I'm not sure what it's all about.
Yeah, it's just well, we can do that since you brought it up. So the Bears, Caleb Williams, he delivers a strong message on painting his fingernails, and he plans to continue doing so this season. The Chicago Bears quarterback Caleb Williams has decided to resume his practice of painting his fingernails for his second NFL season. And this is a real article. This is not fake. Williams explained that he stopped during his rookie season because it was hard to do while the team was losing and he was dealing with the fatigue of a long season. He is now unapologetic about being himself, stating, "I'm not going to apologize about it. I'm going to be me. It doesn't bother me what people have to say about me because I know what I am." The pressure on Williams is heightened by a narrative that he could be on a short leash, especially with new head coach Ben Johnson's high praise for quarterback Tyson Bagent.
So if I understand what he's trying to say in that article, it's he didn't feel comfortable continuing on with his I guess his tradition, he's calling it, of painting his nails because the team wasn't winning and there was too much of a focal point being cast on him.
Yeah, distraction.
Yeah, so he felt that if he would have continued doing him and being him, that it would have continued to create more distraction.
Yep.
What does painting your fingernails have to do with winning football games?
Yeah, nothing.
Nothing. I think it's just a cold cop-out. That's what I think it is. I think it's just a cold cop-out. Look, I don't care what color his fingernails are, to be honest with you. I don't know why he does it in the first place. It's kind of weird. You know, like men typically don't paint their fingernails. I mean, I won't lie. I've had, there's nothing to hide. I've had my nails done before, right? Like manicures, and they put that clear stuff on it. That's about the extent of it for me. But that was, 20 some odd years ago when, or like before, I go on a trip somewhere, you just do a spa day or something with people, like it's not that big a deal, but I didn't paint them red, blue, purple, green, or any other color. You know what I mean? Like,
yep.
It just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't get it. I don't understand it, but let him be him then. It's not going to help you win games. It's definitely not going to help you lose games. It's just going to create media, around it. That's all it's going to do. You're just going to create more attention for yourself. And I will say this. I do believe that there is a tightrope that he's walking this year. I do believe that if he doesn't start winning in a hurry, and even if he's not winning, if he's not playing well, I think it's going to go sideways in a hurry for him.
Yeah, I don't think Ben's going to have any problem pulling the rug out from underneath of him this year. That's why they gave Tyson Bagent $10 million. Who pays their backup that kind of money?
Yeah, I think Bagent's a pretty good backup. Man.
He is. I thought him and Justin Fields would have been just fine, and they could have had so many other pieces and could be so much further ahead right now.
So Jordan Addison is suspended for the first 3 weeks.
Yep.
Vikings are also, you said, dealing with injuries where?
At wide receiver. So not only with Jordan Addison being out, but a couple of their wide receivers are dealing with some injuries right now. And They are optimistic that wide receiver Jalen Naylor will be available to play in the Week 1 season opener against the Chicago Bears on Monday night. Naylor has been recovering from a hand injury he suffered during joint practices with the New England Patriots. His availability is considered crucial as the team envisions a key role for him, especially with the team's wide receiver depth being severely depleted. The Vikings are already without their number 2 in Jordan Addison, who was suspended for the first 3 games, and have lost Randall Moore to a season-ending injury. To address the lack of depth, the team recently traded for veteran wide receiver Adam Thielen. Despite the issues, star receiver Justin Jefferson is healthy and is ready to lead the passing attack for the new starting quarterback, J.J. McCarthy.
Okay. Next up, I would like to get into some predictions.
Sure.
Predictions, but I want to go a little bit further. So I would like to add in, I'm sure you've given some thought about this, but who would be, we're not going to do it right now, but we'll get into it. Like, who would be the offensive player of the year for the Lions?
Mm-hmm.
Defensive player of the year for the defense. And I want to do this in 2 ways. Actually, winning the award. Okay. Winning the award and just best overall player for the Lions. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So winning the award in the NFL, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, and best overall player on the offense and defense for the Lions team. I want to add one more spot to that. Free agents. Who do you think is going to be the best free agent pickup for the Lions? That they picked up this spring.
And
I'm trying to fix my sheet. I had to do a different sheet because that one sheet wasn't working this morning. Sorry, give me 1 sec.
You're going to love mine. I took my roster from training camp and I wrote everything down right on it.
Yeah. Good.
Yep.
Then you'll have something to refer to.
Yep.
I'm trying to create a list here so that I can write Eric's wins, Will's wins. Which, by the way, I found this interesting over the weekend. My chair's on the wrong side here. I get flack because rocks locks. I put out my win loss predictions, and apparently that's egotistical. So did Booer from SI, right? And so does everybody else, and that writes and does analyst work. So we're going to continue to do it. When I look at free agents for this year, you have DJ Reed, Roy Lopez, Grant Stewart. I think that we can obviously consider for free agency. Let me give you the parameters to chew on while we're going through this. Here's the free agents that we can work on. So DJ Reed, Marcus Davenport, I think he fits. Even though he was on the team last year, he was still a free agent, so he had to come back. Grant Stewart. We can throw Kyle Allen in there, but my goodness.
Hopefully he doesn't throw a single pass this year.
Exactly.
Maybe he goes in and takes a knee. That's about all I want to see out of him.
Oh, Daniel Thomas.
Yeah.
Tyrus Wheatons. Tyrus Wheat.
Lacey.
Yeah, why can't I remember Lacey's first name ever?
Cunningham.
Zach Cunningham.
Yep.
I can't remember. He was a free agent, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's Tyler Lacey. Tyler Lacey, right? Tyler. Zach Cunningham. I mean, I really don't even need to go much further because I think that I think that's enough. Like I don't see any other people that could potentially affect this team in a way that we're considering the best overall free agent pickup. And this is an end of season, right? So it's throughout the season. How do they play? We don't really have anyone on the offensive side of the football outside of outside of Kyle Allen. We had Kenny Yeboah, but he's on IR.
Yep.
Offensively, I mean, the Lions really didn't do a ton. Really didn't. I mean, what did they really do? Outside of drafting somebody, you know what I mean? And then I want to take one more step after that. Who will be the most impactful rookie this year? And that can be any of the rookies that we drafted and that are on the team today. So you've got Tyleik Williams, Isaac Tisla.
Easy one for me.
I'm just gonna take a guess. It probably begins with an I.
Huh? Maybe.
All right. So you
I already bought his jersey.
Yeah, Tate Ratledge.
Hey, I have a Davenport jersey on the way too.
Isaac Tisla. Well, you know what? You keep buying jerseys and people keep getting booted off the team.
No way, man. I bought all the rookies the last 2 years and I've got all of them still. And I've got to hang up my my hooker and my what's his face, the other 3rd round pick. Those two. I'm gonna have to get like a hanger behind me and hang up all the retired people that we no longer have.
Tired people.
Yeah, they're no longer on the Lions.
All right, so we have Tate Ratledge, Isaac Tisla, Jackson Meeks, Tyleik Williams, Dominic Lovett. Who else? Who else? Oh, Keith Cooper. I mean, I guess we can throw him on there. He's a UDFA.
He's got to make it off that practice squad, though.
He wasn't drafted. I think that's probably good. Am I missing something? I don't think I am. I think those are the guys. Okay. So let's do this. I want to bring in Chris Sims. And I want to listen. I don't think I can play this. I think it's going to get hit. But if it does, I'll trim it out later. But I want to bring in Chris Sims with I forget this kid's name for some reason. I don't know why. And Chris Sims, I think that they're done. That Unbuttoned, was it Unbuttoned or something was done? Or maybe his other host was done or something. So I
don't listen to him very often, so I don't know.
Maybe he just got a new host. All right, let me get this media spotlight hooked up for us, and then we'll get rolling with these guys here with Chris Sims. Look, I'm bringing this guy in because I want to hear what they have to say about our team. I have not listened to it. Okay, I wanted to do it live and just see what they have to say. Eric, we probably will not be in the scene, so we'll just have to react when it's over.
Perfect.
Okay. Here's Chris Sims on Unbuttoned talking about the Detroit Lions. Oh, I better kill that background music.
Here, speaking of the state of Michigan, the loaded NFC North headlined by the Detroit Lions, where their over-under is 10.5 wins, despite Chris going 15-2 last season. It felt like they were missing half their team down the stretch of that season. The over is plus 110. So despite it being 10.5 wins, the public doesn't even believe in them going over that.
Wow.
This is the team that has the biggest regression projection, I think, in the NFL. They're underdogs in 5 of their games. I think the Lions are going to be really good again, Chris. I don't care about the schedule.
Right.
I mean, if they win less than 11 games, I personally will be really surprised.
I would be too. I'm going to go with the over here,
Yeah.
right? But I totally I don't think it's 15-2 this
No,
year, right?
but it doesn't have to be.
No, it doesn't.
They can win 12 games, and you're like, damn, the Lions are really good and healthy.
Exactly right.
Right.
No doubt. Right. And that's kind of where I see it. I do think they take a step back. One, I am one to say that, no. Them losing the coordinators, you could say all you want. It's a big deal.
Yeah.
And I think especially with Ben Johnson.
Right.
I think Ben Johnson did so much for their offense. He was so aggressive, so creative. He made Jared Goff look like a guy that we've never seen him look like before. He knew how to get all weapons involved in the offense. As I always say, the skill is not having the plays. The skill is how you call the plays and set them up. And that's where Ben Johnson is special. His ability, how he set them up, how he packaged them together, however you want to talk about it, that is not an easy thing to replace. John Morton, the new OC, I like him. I know he's a damn good coach, but for me to just sit here and tell you, he's been there under Ben Johnson, it should look totally the same. I can't just say that. I can't. Absolutely not. And then I think when you talk about that with, some interior offensive line, some new guys there, right? And I know early on in training camp, the offensive line play was a little all over the place. I go over, but yeah, I do think it's a little bit schedule, a little bit of, we've climbed the mountain and been probably the best team in the NFC 2 years in a row and didn't get there. And you have a little bit of an exhaustion or a letdown that way. But I'm with you and still thinking that they're one of the best teams in the NFC. I just don't see 15-2, 14-3 in this year.
Yeah, I love this roster. They have continuity specifically with the roster. But the staff thing is a big deal because I think it's even bigger than Ben Johnson and Aaron Glenn. Those guys brought people with them.
Yeah.
So Tanner Engstrand, who's your pass game coordinator, he's the play caller for the Jets.
Right.
Their run game coordinator / defensive line coach, Terrell Williams.
It goes deeper than you think.
He's with the Patriots.
Now.
And all these assistants ended up, with the Bears or with the Jets.
Right.
So the Lions, they're going to have to overcome a lot of change on the coaching staff. But I have a lot of confidence in Jared Goff getting that offense rolling with all that talent. So I'm going to take the over for the Lions. I think they get to the 11-win mark. We have a question here, or at least a thought. Nuevo Huevo, down on the Lions. John Morton has a if it ain't broke, don't fix it mentality. But with Ben Johnson in the division, I feel like it's Gruden versus the Raiders in the Super Bowl all over again.
Wow, yeah. I mean, listen, that was a special storm of events right there, okay? The Raiders, I don't know, they must have been smoking peyote that week because I don't know what they were thinking by keeping all their language and all their checks exactly the same when they were playing the guy who gave them all their language and all their checks, right? Like that to me was one of the under the radar craziest Super Bowl blunders ever.
That's
ever.
absolutely insane.
I got there the next year, right? I was drafted by the Bucks. I mean, to watch that and see the stories and watch Gruden run scout team because they'd put that on film every now and then, and him calling the plays and hearing the Bucks in the Super Bowl going, oh my gosh, we knew what play was coming.
Right.
We heard him call this or say this, and we knew.
That's it
right?
happened.
That's insane.
That's totally
right?
insane.
It's insane. It really is. All right, so I don't know if it's quite to that extent, but I just wanted to take you down a little memory lane there. But I hear what Nuevo Huevo is talking about there. And yeah, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. That's right. Okay, cool. Do that. Right. The beauty of Ben Johnson was he can always add more. He's always got something else or another wrinkle off of this ain't broke, this is great, but we're going to have a little curveball off of that.
Trick play king.
That's where the great ones are special, is they can continue to add on to their offense week after week after week. Yo, homies, what's up? Thanks for watching Chris Sims Unbuttoned. And just
What did I just listen to?
Yo.
What the hell was that? Did you learn anything from that?
No.
I'm sorry. Like, I'm not smarter than Chris Sims when it comes to football. The dude played the sport at the highest level. but I think we have more intelligent conversation than what the hell I just heard there. Do we not? Please tell me we do. That sounded so erratic to me. I don't. What?
Well, it sounds like they're wondering if John Morton is going to change the verbiage, and if Ben Johnson, they didn't mention if he's going to change his verbiage at all. And if you watch the preseason at all, Gibbs and Monty were saying, those are some nice plays you're playing there, Ben Johnson. Those are the exact same plays you did in Detroit. You're not going to change it up at all. You're just going to do the exact same plays that you did in Detroit.
Well, I mean, I think
everything they ran was something that he ran here.
Here's the thing, though. Like that's pretty consistent across the NFL.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is everybody's running the same exact plays. Everyone's running out of 11 personnel. I mean, just about every team is running out of 11 personnel, and then they're hitting it with some nuances, right? They're disguising everything out of 11 personnel, but then they just tweak it a little bit. Verbiage is a big deal. So with Monty and Jameer saying that, hey, you're not going to run anything different. They're going to run the same play. 25 other teams in the NFL run the same play. It's just some may put a tight end in motion where others may put your slot receiver in motion, or the next play you put your slot receiver in motion instead of your tight end in motion, or then 3-4 plays later you're putting Jahmyr Gibbs out, in the slot, and then you send him in motion. It's just disguising it and doing something a little bit, just a little fold of a wrinkle. Each time you want to run the same play, it's just, I'm going to put this guy on this side of the hash. I'm going to put that guy on that side of the hash. This guy's going to go in motion. This guy's going to swing and chip, versus this guy. So you're just trying to disguise it a little bit, but everyone runs the same crap. It's just called something a little bit different and mirrored a little bit different. I think mirror is probably the best term. You're mirroring the field. You're flipping it, but you're mirroring it. You know what I mean? When you look in a mirror, it's the exact opposite of what you're looking at. That's what you're trying to do. Here's what I heard. Over under for the Lions is still 10.5. Sims says, I think the Lions are going to take a step back from 15-2. He does not see the Lions at 15-2 or 14-3. Okay. I said as soon as the season ended, I said the Lions are going to run it back at 14-3, or maybe I said 13-4. I said one of those two. I think I said 14-3.
Mm-hmm.
The other dude, I don't know why I'm forgetting his name right now, and I shouldn't. I do like him. Like I think he's a pretty sharp dude. They think that Ben Johnson did a ton. So kind of what I was talking about in the first hour. That Ben Johnson did a ton, this is the statement that blew me away, made Jared Goff look like a guy we have never seen before. What? Excuse me? Did you watch Jared Goff in LA? Did you not see him in that Super Bowl run? I mean, he still has not put up the stats of that Super Bowl run. I think that was the best year passing for him ever, was that Super Bowl run year.
Until last year.
I don't even know if he beat it last year.
Yeah. Last year was his best statistical year.
Well,
for yards and
depends, right?
touchdowns.
Depends on which stats you're looking at.
Yards and touchdowns.
So in 2018, Goff put up 4,688 yards. In 2024, 4,629. So he was short by 59 yards.
Oh, okay. But
now,
more touchdowns
TDs,
last year.
he had 5 more TDs last year. That was the most TDs for him in a season. That was his best rating ever in a season. 12 interceptions. I mean, he's done that a couple of times. That'd be the third time he's thrown 12. So, I mean, everything else he blew out the water.
Yeah. Is 12 his low for a season?
No. If he played a full season in 2022 with the Lions, he threw 7. In 2021, I know he missed 3 games, but we didn't have anything that year. He threw only 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. In 2017, his first full season, he went 28-7. He averages probably 11, which I'm good with 12. I'm okay with that. I think just the crazy thing to think about is had he not had that Texans game, he probably is only pitching 8 interceptions last year.
37-8. That'd be amazing.
Yeah, it would have been a really good season. I mean, some quarterbacks have done that, right? All right, so here's what else he said. Again, exactly what I say about Ben Johnson. The skill is how you set up the plays, how you call the plays, how you mix in the plays. That's why I call Ben a mixologist. I believe the architecture is not so much in the playbook. It's being able to identify what's happening in the game. I agree and disagree with this. I think that Ben Johnson made some big mistakes last year. When Jahmyr Gibbs has a hot hand and he's running the crap out of the football and nobody can stop him, why did you stop? Why did you stop? Just keep on going until they can stop you. When they stop you, then you pivot. Right? I mean, obviously it's not run the ball 15 times in a row and wear them out. No. But you want to consistently go back to what's working and continue on with the run game. For instance, I'll keep on going back to this probably to the day I die. The Washington Commanders game, it's 3rd and 1 at the 17. The run game was working and you throw the ball. Like the dumbest thing I've ever seen. But I do believe in the mixology of the game. I do. They have a big emphasis on losing coordinators and losing assistants. Tanner Engstrand, pass game coordinator. Terrell Williams, your run game coordinator and your defensive line coach. I believe in Terrell Williams. I was really, really not happy seeing him leave. But the story was written for Calvin Shepard. And Terrell Williams was not going to stay to be anything but a DC. And I think what he did last year, probably one of the best seasons I've ever seen out of a defensive line coach. Far and away. Tell me another one. Like, tell me another season by a defensive line coach that was better. I do. They were right. When they brought him in, best coach in the league, bar none, defensive line, 1,000% he is. We'll see what our guys have this year, right? We'll see how good they are. But there is no way you orchestrate 15 wins without being able to do what the Lions did with that defensive line. He thinks the offense is going to be easy to figure out, kind of what you were talking about, because of the previous language, the previous playbook. And look, do we honestly think that the Lions aren't going to change anything? Hell no. They're going to change it. They have to change the language. That was the first thing that they started doing the minute that Ben walked out the door.
They've been talking about that all off season, how all the verbiage is completely different.
Has to be. You can't, there's no way that you would walk into the season running the same play with the same verbiage. It'll be different verbiage, same play, mirrored to look different. And that's hard to do. That's hard. But now that you understand the scheme, you've been in the scheme long enough, now it's easy to flip it. I do believe that we're going to have, like I said, we'll have a couple of herky-jerky moments where the guys are going to be like, oh, shoot, I was supposed to actually do this on that play. And you know what? We may never even know it because maybe it just worked. You know what I mean? It just worked for them that they screwed up, but we didn't see it. We didn't notice it because the play still went off with, without a hitch, so to speak. I can't get enough coffee this morning. I don't know why. I must have made a good batch today. It tastes good.
I hear you.
So that's what we heard. Now we'll get into this. 11 wins for the other dude. I can't remember his name. I don't think Chris ever gave us an answer. He just said a step back, a 15-2 doesn't see 14-3. So does that mean 13-4 or 12-5 or 11-6? Because it's above the over-under for both of them. They both think it's 11 wins or more. But it's not 14-3 or 15-2. So somewhere between 11, 12, and 13 wins is what Chris Sims thinks and his partner there. Are you agreeing or disagreeing?
As do I.
Okay, so let's get into it. Let's get into the season predictions. And what I would like to do is, well, wait a second. That one page that I said that I read this morning by Boer is gone. It's missing. I was gonna compare. I was gonna do a little compare and contrast, but it's missing. So maybe it was released too early or something. I don't know.
I don't know how it could be too early. We did this back months ago.
Well, I mean for the season, but yeah, it says, "Oops, the page you're looking for is gone."
Ah.
Maybe it was changed a little bit. Let me see.
Might be working on it to update it or something since the Parsons deal went down.
Well, it was just released. Either between late last night or this morning.
Might have had a flub in it somewhere.
Flub. I got your flub.
Yeah, it happens. You go back to look at it again and then you're like, oh, crap.
Yeah.
Got to fix that.
All right, so let's do this. Let's start with, there was a good question in the chat, and I apologize, I have not been in the chat at all today. There's a couple of good statements. So what I would like to do is, and I can't do phone calls yet because I still haven't figured this stupid roadcaster out. It is beyond me. It is too smart for me. I will get it tested today. Megan's home, so she'll be able to help me out. Let me get the chat back open. Okay. I'm going to start with this. We'll do Q&A. I got to end this first one. There we go.
Yeah, Trace says we have 155 people watching and only 62 likes smashed. Let's get those numbers up, chat.
Yeah, remember, and now that we're in season, if we get 75 likes before 9 a.m. or 75% of whoever is in by 9 a.m., we turn the ads off the rest of the day. The goal is to get it before 8:30. So if we don't have 100 people in by 8:30, it's kind of hard to get to 75 likes. It is what it is. Some days we have 200 people in here. Some days we have 500 people in here. Some days we have 100. Some days we have 30. But I think we'll notice throughout the rest of the season, it probably won't be any less than 150, 250. We can get there. It really helps us a ton. There's also a hype button on your phone. If you slide through the chat on your phone, if you slide comments or chat, there's a hype button. If you push that hype button, it'll help us get out to more Lions fans just like you. That would be huge for you guys to help us out with that this year. It's a new feature by YouTube. Appreciate your help. Okay, let's do Lions' biggest weakness before we get into predictions.
Okay.
Eric, what do you think the Lions' biggest weakness is this year? I don't care what it is. Offense, defense, special teams, coaching. What do you think our biggest weakness is this year? I know this is coming out of left field because we didn't prep this.
Yep. So I'm just trying to think. Safety depth.
We just fixed that, didn't we?
Yeah, maybe. I haven't seen it yet, so I don't know. Because, I mean, we have Brian Branch, we have Kirby Joseph, two of the best in the league. And no matter what, if one of those two goes down, you're going to have a drop-off, especially with Brian Branch because he can play every position in the DB room. So this new kid that we just picked up off of the Raiders, I don't know. I don't know exactly what we have for backups for safety right now. That would give me pause if one of those guys went down. So I'm hoping they stay nice and healthy this year. Yeah, Rockhound is like Brian Branch, but you know, he's never played safety in the league. He always was a corner.
Are you sure about that?
Wasn't it? Wasn't it Rockhound that we're converting him for the first time?
I don't remember hearing that, but I mean, I'll say this: between Avonte Maddox, Brian Branch, Kirby Joseph, Daniel Thomas, the new guys, Rockhound,
and Maddox.
I already said Maddox.
Yeah.
Who else? I don't have the. Let me get the depth chart open. My brain's not working.
Yeah.
Where's my Excel spreadsheet?
You know, most people are going to say the interior line and who we have backing them up. What got us last year? Our defense. You know, our offense was just fine no matter who was in and out. Our defense is what we just couldn't keep up. We were allowing too many points last year.
Actually, last year we allowed the fewest points ever. 20.2 to end the season. We were only allowing 17 points in the first 12 weeks of the year.
I know.
So the allowing too many points wasn't it. I think it was just
we
too
weren't
many
scoring
injuries.
enough. We had the number one scoring offense in the league last year.
Who said we didn't score enough?
No, I'm saying, are you saying we didn't score enough? Because we had the number one offense.
That's not what I said. You said that the defense allowed too many points. We actually allowed the
They
fewest
did.
points ever.
I don't know.
No, we did. I know we did. Remember when I say you've got to have 20 or less points
Yeah.
to be able to win a lot of football games? We were only allowing 17 through the first 12 weeks of the year.
Huh.
We were at the top of the list.
We only lost 2 games.
Right.
3 if you count the playoffs.
Yeah, your camera keeps shaking.
Oh, sorry. I was hitting my table.
So anyway, your biggest weakness you think is safety. Here's what I'll throw at you.
Mm-hmm.
If for safety for me, we have Kirby Joseph, Avonte Maddox, Daniel Thomas, Brian Branch, Thomas Harper. So we have 2 guys that are unknown. So I think that you're accurate in your assessment, right? That possibly safety could be an issue since we don't know what these guys are just yet. I did like Harper's tape. Daniel Thomas is more of a special teams ace. Look, it's Kirby Joseph and Brian Branch that are going to be out there the majority, 90% of the snaps or more, right? As long as they stay healthy. The good news is between the rest of the DBs, Rockhound can play just about everywhere. I don't know about your statement about him not converting or playing safety before, but at least with the Lions, he's kind of been utilized in all 3 positions so far in the preseason and in practice. Avonte Maddox, kind of the same thing. But Avonte Maddox is definitely going to be playing safety. So we have 5 safeties, 3 of which are pretty damn good. Avonte Maddox is good, and we know Kirby and Brian are the 2 best in the league. So I think we're good there. DB room, we have 5 DBs, right? Tell me I'm not missing something here. We only have 5 DBs. Is this the right 53? Let me make sure I'm on my right 53. Yeah, it is. So we have 10 DBs overall. I mean, it is what it is. DJ Reed, Terry Arnold, Amik Robertson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch being your starting 5. Khalil Dorsey, Rockhound, Avonte Maddox, Thomas Harper, and Daniel Thomas being your backup 5. I think we're in good shape. I really do. I'm sure the number one thing people are going to say is defensive end, right? They're going to say, our biggest weakness is defensive end. I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
Yeah, between Aiden Hutchinson and Marcus Davenport, you really don't want to see anyone else, on the field anyway. However, I do believe that Marcus Davenport will be in on most of the rundowns, and you'll probably see Al-Qadim Muhammad get in there, or you might see Pat O'Connor swing out wide, or Mekhi Wingo swing out wide to give Davenport a rest on some of the passing downs. You want to get more speed in there. You're gonna bring some guys with more speed. However, I think that speed's also going to come from the linebacker room, and that's where you're going to start to see some of the linebackers on 3rd down get in after the quarterback, as opposed to just the defensive ends. You just let those guys contain that edge, and let one of your linebackers get through. I think our biggest weakness is offensive line. That's my biggest weakness. And the reason why is because we have Penei Sewell. We know who he is. His pass pro is not great. He was outside the top, when we did this, he was outside the top 50 or outside the top 60 for pass pro. Right? So he's he wasn't even in the top 32 of starting right tackles for pass pro. And I'm not saying that he's a liability, because obviously he's not. Penei Sewell is one of the best tackles, if not the best tackle in the game. But his pass pro is a little suspect at times. Taylor Decker coming off this shoulder injury. We don't know what we're going to get, man. If he bangs up that shoulder, it's going to be a long season for the Lions. And we really don't have a good left tackle to fill in for him. Right now, it's Giovanni Manu or Jamarco Jones. And I would say Jamarco Jones is going to get the immediate start over Giovanni Manu. And then behind them, I mean, Graham Glasgow, again, at center. We lost Frank Ragnow. It's huge. So I think from a personnel to personnel year over year, it's offensive line. And that's what I'm going with, is offensive line. Biggest strength. What do you think the biggest strength is?
Defensive end.
Okay. I would tend to agree that our biggest strength on the defense could be defensive end, simply because of Aiden Hutchinson. But I think our biggest strength is going to be our DB room. I really do. As long as DJ Reed, Terrion Arnold, Meek Robertson, Kirby Joseph, Brian Branch are healthy and on the field, there is not another starting five that I see in the league right now that is better than that. You might have a singular player that is better than a singular player. I'm hoping that Terrion Arnold has that big jump this year. And as long as he does, even if he plays where he was the last, 4, 5, 6 games of the year, that's huge. Especially with DJ Reed. DJ Reed's got to hit the ground running. On offense, come on. The receiver room, get real. There is not a better receiver room. Like, I call this the Magnificent Seven. There is not 7 better athletes that you're going to find on an offense for weapons than on the Detroit Lions. I've looked everywhere. I can't find one. On paper, we have to see what they do in the game. Who do you think on the offense? What's your biggest strength?
The running backs.
I like how we're different, because that just means that the whole damn team's good, right?
Yep. Well, and one thing with the defensive edge that I was going to talk about, I saw this list yesterday, and I thought I had it on my phone. I can't find it. And it lists the top 10 edge rushing duos in the NFL. And guess who came in at number 5? Marcus Davenport and Aiden Hutchinson at number
Really?
5 in the entire league. And I thought that was very surprising that they were number 5. So it gives me high hope that this edge room is going to surprise a lot of people this year. I think those two working together and them having a couple years together now, and I know a lot of it was both of them on the IR, but I like it when teammates can be together for multiple seasons and start getting things together, because look at Monty and Jahmyr Gibbs. Their first couple seasons, it only gets better every year, right? And those two are just connected right at the hip. So for me on offense, it is once again Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. I think they're symbiotic. They're 1 and 2. They're 1A, 1B. There's not even really a 1B. It's 1A, 1A. They're both super gifted, and they can both score 1 million touchdowns. So to me, on offense, my VIPs on offense are Jahmyr and David Montgomery.
I love it, man. They're going to be fun to watch this year. So I just put up the Q&A to kind of roll with us. Let us know who your biggest weaknesses and strengths are for offense and defense positional groups. Let us know right now in the chat if you would. And then also in the comments later when we're done with the show, please jump over into the comments and leave us a few comments about the biggest weakness and strength. I like how Joseph C mentions our linebackers, and I'll kind of end this with this. I think we have a very sneaky linebacker room. I think it has now become a strength as well, with the way that, you look at our starting 3 between Jack Campbell, Alex Anzalone, and Derek Barnes. But Grant Stewart, he's just a heat-seeking missile, man.
He's going to surprise a lot of people.
That dude is going to get in and affect this game, whatever game it is, in a big way. Special teams, defense, hell, maybe even offense. You know, he might get back there and H-back at some point. Who knows? But we'll see. But I think that Grant Stewart is our joker this year. He's our wild card, man. He's our wild card.
I could see Grant Stewart back there as a blocker and them letting him leak out after he does a block and chucking him the ball and off he goes. You saw what he could do on kickoff returns. It would not, if we used him as a fullback, it would not surprise me one bit.
We haven't seen it yet. I hope they do.
Yep.
Okay. We'll get into best free agent pickup. You off at 10 today?
I'm good. I can go over today.
Okay.
Today's Monday.
So then let's get right into the next one. Best free agent pickup on the defense or the offense. It doesn't matter. We only get one choice. We're kind of limited on offense, so it kind of boxes us in on defense, which is okay. Who is your best free agent pickup for the Detroit Lions in 2025?
Well, I wanted to go with DJ Reed because he is the flashy guy. And then I thought, well, maybe Roy Lopez. He's going to get a lot of snaps. But it could be Zach Cunningham. He's going to get a lot of tackles. But in my heart of hearts, it's going to be the guy we were just talking about. It's going to be Grant Stewart. Stewart is going to do something to win us a game this year. And it's going to be because of one or two plays that guy makes, whether it's on defense, special teams, offense, whatever it is. The guy's a Swiss Army knife, and I love it. So I think Grant Stewart is going to be the guy to keep your eye on. He's going to be our surprise free agent pickup this year. Uh-oh, I have an echo again. That's no good.
You shouldn't.
My audio went goofy. You want me to jump out and jump back in?
No, I moved you into a solo scene.
Okay.
So let me
see. It's gone. They say it's gone now.
Yeah, it's that audio input capture. I still had one in there.
Oh, okay.
So it's gone now.
Perfect.
Yeah, I got to get that stuff tested out. And then just watch your feet. You keep kicking your desk or something. Your video's going like this. Shaken. I would agree. I do believe that Grant Stewart is the Detroit Lions' number one free agent pickup this year as a true free agent. I believe that he's going to affect this team, like I just said a moment ago, whether it's on the teams as a special teams ace. He could be somebody that's utilized returning kicks, at some point. I don't think that's going to be a natural position for him. I still believe that Khalif Raymond is going to be back there, but you might see Grant Stewart back there as well. What I do love about having Grant Stewart back there is he's going to be just as quick, potentially, as Khalif Raymond, to be able to get out in front and to be able to lead him through and make some key blocks. I'm calling Khalif Raymond to get at least one punt and kick return for a TD this year. That is a Rock's lock of the season. I believe that Khalif is going to have at least one on, for both sides. So I'm going to lock that in right now. Khalif Raymond, one kick and punt return this season. I'm not sure against two yet, but I see it happening. I really do. I'm glad that he was able to stick around. You guys know that I was a little wishy-washy on Khalif getting edged out this year, but he was able to stick around, and I think it was the right decision. But I'm going to throw another name out there. As much as I love Stewart, bringing back Marcus Davenport. If this guy stays healthy, which I know is one of the biggest gripes of Detroit Lions fans, you underpaid this dude by $10 million, right? Had he been healthy and actually had a full season, what he's able to produce, he is going to be the key that unlocks Aiden Hutchinson. He is going to be the key that unlocks Grant Stewart behind him, or Alex Anzalone, or Jack Campbell. Marcus Davenport is going to be the key to this defense, not named Aiden Hutchinson. right? We know what Aiden can do, but Aiden is only so good as the guys around him. And right now, this defense is so loaded. We just need that piece that is going to make offenses have to worry about both sides of the defense. And that is Marcus Davenport. So he is my biggest key free agent signing or re-signing for the Detroit Lions this year. So let me lock that in. Davenport, and you had Stewart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Weakness. I had O-line. Weakness. You had safety room.
Safety depth. Yeah.
Safety depth. Okay. What was the next one? Most impactful rookie of the season.
Yep.
And this, again, can be from either, offense or defense. We get one choice out of Tate Ratledge, Isaac Tisla, Jackson Meeks, Tyleek Williams, Dominic Lovett, Keith Cooper. If I look at our roster, I don't see anybody else on this roster that is a rookie. Now, Keith Cooper's obviously on the practice squad. Jackson Meeks is on the practice squad. Dominic Lovett is your fifth wide receiver, So, and it can be any of them. It could be a guy that gets called up because of injury. It could be a guy that gets called up to get some game action. Or it could be one of the three guys that are expected to start in Tate Ratledge, Isaac Tisla, and Tyleek Williams. What is your choice?
I'm going to go with Isaac Tisla. I think he is going to have some amazing catches for touchdowns, going to get those contested balls, something we haven't had basically since Megatron. Now, I don't think he's going to be Megatron, but he's going to be able to get these catches that no other wide receiver for the Detroit Lions has been able to get in years and years and years. He's going to be a fan favorite, and I don't think he's going to get 10 touchdowns in his first season. If he gets 4, 5, I will be very happy. But I think that he is going to help us win a game or two this season. And when we get to the playoffs, hopefully he's getting in a really good groove and getting his groove with Goff. Let's just say that. Hopefully he's established himself come playoff time.
I think the good news is both him and Goff, I think, have been developing their rapport. Unfortunately for us, we only got to see what Kyle Allen could bring to the table with Isaac Tisla or, Hendon Hooker, which wasn't much. I do believe that Tisla is going to have his moments as well. I do think that he's going to end up becoming a fan favorite over time. Clearly, before, the cut down day when both of us thought that Tim Patrick would be traded, it was primarily because Isaac Tisla and his rise, during the preseason, especially during the summer camp. I mean, there was plenty of times that we witnessed, whether it was in camp at days that we were there or in clips post camp, Tisla was able to have his way with some of our DBs. He didn't win every time. Right. But I think that he was quickly asserting himself as, a football player that is going to be able to win far more than he loses. Now, there was that one play where Kirby gets down and really presses him, and he struggled with that. So there's going to be some things that he has to clean up, too. Being able to disengage off of blockers at the line, being able to win in those one-on-one matchups. But what I really loved about Tisla and listening to what others are talking about and have seen is his blocking ability downfield. So to your point, it's not just about how many touchdowns he scores. It's going to be how many touchdowns he frees up that I think is what's going to be key for this offense and key for his role. You know, while you have to give the guy some credit and you have to pay attention to him on the outside because he is such a big physical receiver, and he will go up and get those contested catches, you're going to take away, you know, some of the eyes on other players when you're focusing on Isaac TeSlaa. So I think it was a great move by the Lions to bring him in. Perfectly okay with what they gave up to bring him in. I agree with you that I think he's going to be a big part of this season, but I'm going with a different player. You may or may not agree, and this was really hard for me to pick because where I said the offensive line is going to be a weakness, I don't think that Tate Ratledge is going to be one of those. I think that Tate Ratledge is going to have a really good rookie season. But I'm sticking with the defensive line. I'm going with Tyleik Williams, the guy that I chose for the Lions to pick in the first round back during the combine. There's a reason why he caught my eye. There's a reason why Brad and them have been watching him for a few seasons. Tyleik Williams is different. The dancing bear was given to Aleem McNeil when they brought in Aleem McNeil. And Tyleik Williams has all that and more. At 330 pounds, this guy is able to move in ways that a 330-pounder shouldn't. I'm expecting Tyleik Williams to explode early for the Detroit Lions this year, and you might see him in the backfield more often than not. So Tyleik Williams is my biggest rookie impact of the year for right now.
I got one more thing to say about Isaac TeSlaa.
Sure.
No one saw Puka Nacua coming either.
Exactly. Good point. Good point. Great point. Yeah, Puka, man. That just revolutionized. You just never know. I mean, Amon-Ra St. Brown really revolutionized, you know, where you're going to find really good picks, but you've had a few of those over many decades, you know, that you get just lucky every once in a while. And that's why I'm never afraid of where, you know, Brad Holmes is going to take somebody, even though I may be dead set on my ways. Brad Holmes has always figured out a way to be right about something. And I definitely think he was right. Now, again, I put up this post last night that people didn't understand on Twitter. Some of them got the sarcasm, you know, where I said, you know, hindsight's always 20/20, and you know, maybe we should ask for Brad Holmes to be fired because we didn't, you know, he didn't foresee that 21 players were going to hit IR. You can't get everything right, but there's one thing you can't do is you can't predict injuries. And so you can't blame Brad Holmes for something that you can't do anything about. You can't prevent it, right? It's what you do after the fact, after the injury, that makes you a good GM. And I think what he did after the fact was reload this team to continue winning football games. So full faith in what he's been doing. Do I like every pick? Not every time. Is there things that I would have done different? Sure. But he's the one making millions over there for a reason. Yeah, let's see if that rounds out. So most impact, free agent, best overall. Oh, okay. We didn't do offensive defensive player of the year award.
Or comeback player of the year.
Okay. All right. So offensive player of the year. Who is your offensive player of the year candidate?
It's going to be Jahmyr Gibbs, because not only is he going to be a featured running back, he's also going to be out wide as a wide receiver. And I think that Gibbs is going to put up numbers we have never seen since the likes of Barry Sanders.
Ooh, you mean on the ground?
Both.
No, Barry didn't have any crazy years catching the ball.
No.
But I could see that. So that's offensive player of the year candidate. What about best overall offensive player for just the Lions this year?
I'm going to stick with Gibbs.
Gibbs.
I think Gibbs is your best overall player. Goff, I don't know if he has the exact same numbers he had last year. long as he gets kind of close, that's good enough. But I think Gibbs is just going to go to another level this year. He's going to have opportunities he's never had in the past.
Okay. Man, it's so funny how we have evolved, Eric.
Yeah.
We have evolved. Because my offensive player of the year candidate, as much as I want it to be Jahmyr Gibbs, and as much as I think he's going to do...
You ain't going to pick J-Mo. There's no way.
As much as I think he's going to do some great things this year, I think the problem is the split backfield is going to hold him back. And what I mean by that, and I think you'll see a couple of posts that come out soon, I'll just ask it. Do you think that there's ever a chance that Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be able to break the rushing record? And if he doesn't, then he probably will never be an offensive player of the year candidate. However, if he had 1,500 yards and 750 catching, someone put out a wild stat like 2,000 yards, 1,000 receiving, 1,000 rushing. Like, that's insane. There's no way that's going to happen. But if it did, I don't think it's ever been done before.
No, and that's one of Gibbs's goals is to do 1,000.
Right. So if he were to pull that off, then he is right in the contest for Offensive Player of the Year. But I think that's what it's going to take. It's 1,000 plus, or it's break the rushing record. I think that's what has to put him in the conversation.
Well, who was it? Did Saquon get Offensive Player of the Year last year?
I don't remember.
I know he didn't get MVP. There hasn't been a MVP that was a running back since the Vikings running back, the guy that played for the Lions there for a little while. His name escapes me.
No, it was Saquon, NFL Offensive Player of the Year for 2025.
Yeah,
Saquon Barkley. So he did win, and that was breaking the rushing record. Or no, he got close, right? He didn't break it. He got close.
Marshall Faulk set an NFL record for yards from scrimmage with 24-29 in 99. And that was Peterson. Yeah. Peterson was the one that I thought he was the last one to win MVP non-quarterback.
Is Marshall Faulk's that's the current record?
Yeah. And that's what it was. Somebody just reminded me. St. Brown is going to buy Gibbs a house if he does 1,000. And Gibbs already has the house picked out.
Well, hopefully it's at least 6 digits.
Yeah.
Okay, so in one season...
Oh, Christian McCaffrey, Marshall Faulk, and Robert Craig have had 1,000 seasons.
Have they really?
Wow. And the current record right now is Chris Johnson with 2,509 yards total in a season. That's what Art Vandelay put in the chat. Got our crack research team on stuff this morning.
Yeah, for some reason, it's still not pulling up for me. I keep asking AI, what is the single season rushing record? And it keeps pulling up Eric Dickerson, Adrian Peterson, Jamal Lewis, Barry Sanders. Like, dude, wake up. I'm going to tell him you're drunk.
You got to say please, man. If you don't ask it, please.
And that is not correct. Yeah, no, me and my AI, dude, we go at it. Fair call, Will. Let's sober things up. All right. So anyway, here's where I'm going. Jameson Williams is going to be my best overall Detroit Lions player in 2025. J-Mo.
Wow.
So best overall. And the reason why is we're going to see Jameson Williams finally have his first full season. That's right. He's going to play in week 1. He has matured, like totally transformed who he is. Physically, mentally, appearance-wise, J-Mo's a different person today than he was, 3 seasons ago or 2 seasons ago, whatever it was, right? I think his maturity level is what is going to get him over the top. I think the fact that he now understands the scheme a little bit better than where he was as a rookie or his second-year player, J-Mo is finally going to be able to eclipse some of those marks that he has set up for himself. I know he doesn't care about catches, right? So he may not have the most catches in the league, but he's always one touch away from the end zone. And for that reason, in the fact that Morton wants explosives, I see J-Mo being heavily utilized in the deep game this year. And I've seen quite a few deep throws as to where last year we did not this early in the season, especially in camp is what I'm referring to. I didn't see this many deep shots, but we're starting to see them. It's been one of my biggest gripes for the last 3 seasons is the deep shots, not taking them, getting down to the 30-yard line and dunking your way, through the red zone. No, you take a shot at the corner, man. You take a shot at the end zone. You have to. And that's what we're starting to see with John Morton. It'd be interesting to see what happens week 1. If we get down to the 30, the 25, the 26, if he does not take a shot at the end zone, I would be surprised. And I think that's where J-Mo comes alive. Now, for my overall Offensive Player of the Year candidate for the NFL, it's not Jamison Williams. That is where I am going to go Jahmyr Gibbs. And it is because I believe his ability to get out wide this year and get involved in the pass game is going to open up a whole new dynamic that we haven't seen yet for this team. So we got one right together, but the other one, man, I'm pivoting. I think that J-Mo could be that guy. He could be that dude this year. We'll see where it goes.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you'll get unblocked this year.
I'm not worried about that.
Oh man.
I just don't think he ever liked my video where I was showing the ball bouncing off his face.
Yep.
Probably wasn't happy about that. I think that's it. I think that we did all those.
Our defensive player of the year. And
defensive.
Player of the year. Yeah. So defensive, I'm going to go with the tried and true. We're going to go with Aiden. I think he is going to be a wrecking ball this year. I think he's going to win comeback player of the year, and I think he has a very strong chance to win defensive player of the year. I don't care what Micah Parsons has to say. I don't care what Trey Hendrickson has to say, Myles Garrett or Max Crosby. I think Aiden is a man on a mission. He missed over half the season last year, and he's ready to make up for it. So watch out, NFL. Here comes Aiden.
I want to share this video of Aiden that I came across, and I'm just going to apologize the way that this is set up because it's not set up great. Let me see if I can make a quick change. There we go. That looks a little better. But anyway, this video came out, or at least I noticed it yesterday. I'm never on TikTok, but this popped out. I don't know how I found it, but I wanted to share it because this is just the difference of Aiden. And you know what? That's the wrong thing. Hold on. It's just the difference of what Aiden does and how he gets prepared. But he did something that was, and I don't know how long he did this season, or what the backstory is. I mean, this could have just been made for media type thing, or did he actually spend some time learning from these people? And I'm trying not to give it away. And these people train the hardest, man. Out of anybody in the world, they train the hardest.
Your video is frozen, by the way, Will.
Oh, is it? It's probably because doing some stuff in the background. Oh, that's fun.
Yeah. You're no longer moving.
That's never happened.
There we go.
All right. Let's transition to this video. It's really short. Let me just make sure the audio is turned on. All right, this is Aiden Hutchinson. Get this background noise turned off. All right, here we go.
Oh no, Aiden Hutchinson is still down, and this does not look good.
I vowed to come back unbroken and finish what I started. What do you think I can learn from the U.S. Army and the Rangers?
We can take the things that we do in our mental preparation and translate that to how you attack next season. Strength isn't just muscle, it's also your mind. You're physically exhausted. Now we're going to test your mental readiness.
Let's go. I love it, dude. I love it.
So I brought you here to show you clips when you were your most dominant. The next step, visualize every possibility.
I'm just trying to see the play before the snap. What do you see? I'm looking at the formation, looking at the stances, looking where the running back and the tight end is, and I know my move.
Move faster, fight harder, as you were built for this purpose.
When your mind is unbreakable, you are unbeatable.
Tell me that doesn't get you pumped up.
Ready to go join the Army?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a little too old for that.
Right? But tell me that doesn't get you pumped up, man. I mean, if there's one thing that our armed forces do is they train out of the box. And, you know, it's that beat you down mentality, then you bring you back up, then beat you down, then bring you back up, beat you down a few more times and bring you back up. And then it's beat you down and keep you down and see if you don't crack. And I know that's not what Aiden went through, but this little commercial for the Army, I mean, I think it idolizes what Aiden's all about. Is he wants to visualize what he's about to do, right? He puts it out there. He's mentioned that a couple of times, that's what he's all about. Is, you know, he's putting it out there in the universe, and then he's going to go get it. So, thought it was a good video. I thought it was a good video. Get you psyched up, man. Almost as much as this one. Just kidding. We're back. All right, so let's get into it, man. You doing Defensive Player of the Year is Aiden Hutchinson?
Yes.
Okay. Defensive Player of the Year, that's to win the award, yes?
Yes.
All right, so DPOY for the Lions, same thing?
Same thing. You are going to see the player we thought we were going to see for the entirety of the season, plus a whole bunch more.
Jack Campbell sticks out to me right now. Third year. Top 10 last year at his position as a second-year player. Aiden, man, if he stays healthy. Let me say that again. Aiden, when he stays healthy. I do believe that we're going to see a guy that just he's playing a man apart, man. I hope he doesn't get too aggressive, like we kind of saw in his rookie year where he was getting too vertical and getting behind the play and opening up giant holes. I don't think he's going to do that because he is mentally in a space now where he's been there, done it, made the mistakes, watched enough film, gone through enough practice, prepared enough to where he knows he can't be a liability on just chasing stats anymore. He needs to play sound football. And you've watched that evolution with Aiden too. Go back and watch his rookie tape. I grilled his ass. You know, that's why people thought that I hated Aiden, because I kept grilling him every week, you know, after every game. It's like, dude, you can't get too vertical and open up the edge like that. you can still affect the pocket, affect the quarterback, and make a play without doing that. And you slowly kind of watched him migrate or evolve, I guess is the best word, into a sound technician. He's operating at a different level. We know that he's got one of the best work ethics of anybody, right? You heard it all off season long. That he's different. Penei Sewell, I still haven't clipped it for us to watch. I promise I'll get to it. You probably have already seen it a dozen times. Talking about Aiden and how different he is. There is no off switch, right? There's not a different level of speed. It's 0 when he's sitting on the bench, or it's 1001 when he's in the game. He's going 1,000,000 miles an hour, and there is no in between. It's all Aiden or nothing. It took him shattering his leg to get taken out of a game. So I agree. Defensive Player of the Year watch is Aiden Hutchinson. And I think for the Lions themselves, this one's kind of a different bag for me. Because I do believe in our DBs. I do. And I know it's going to be really hard for Kirby to sniff anything close to what he did last year. But that doesn't mean that Brian Branch can't do it. That doesn't mean that Terry and Arnold can't be different. You know, I'm questioning whether Alex Anzalone is going to have his best season as a Lion. But I don't think I can do anything different. I've got to go Aiden Hutchinson here for right now. But I still believe in the fact that there's going to be some guys. This is best overall, right? But I think best overall impact on the game. The best overall impact on the game, I believe, is going to end up being DJ Reed. I do. I think he's going to be able to shut down a corner of an offense and allow the rest of the defense do their job. And that's huge. Between him and Kirby, they're like 1A, 1B for me with best overall defensive player for the Lions. And then I would put Aiden probably at 1C. Simply because I think Aiden's going to have his job to do, but without those guys, it's tough to do that job. Right? Without Davenport, it's tough to do that job because you can get keyed on and get double teamed and take you out of the play every time. But there's not an offense that can do that. We have too many pieces. You were going to say something.
Forgot.
Sorry.
I lost it. Oh, I know what I was going to say. Now, my biggest jump for someone on the defense is going to be our year 2 corner. That's going to be Terry and Arnold. I think he's going to have the biggest jump of anyone on the entire Lions team this year. You know, we all know J-Mo's going to do better this year, but as far as taking a jump from where they were last year to where they're going to be this year, I think Terry and Arnold is going to have the biggest year 2 of any of our Lions this year. I think you're going to see leaps and bounds from Terry and Arnold this year. And he'll get his first interception this year.
I hope he does. But then again, it's less important. I'd rather see him play sound football, no flags, more PBUs, being sure tackling, sure in his tackling, not making rookie mistakes than trying to get interceptions. I think that when you go after stats, that's when you don't play to your strengths. When you let it all happen naturally and you put yourself in a good position to win, that's when things happen. And that's when stats kind of come alive. It's a little different for a safety, though, because safeties can cheat, right? Not in that sense of the word, but they can kind of cheat a little bit, hide, they can bait. It's a little bit different. Where Terrian can do some of that stuff is trying to jump a route, where he's kind of baiting the quarterback to throw, an out route or something, and then he knows it's coming and it's right there. We'll see what happens, but I'm going to go ahead and stick, like I said, I'll stick with Aiden for DPOY for the Lions and Defensive Player of the Year for the league. My biggest jump in year 2 would also be Terry and Arnold. I would say if we were doing year 3 or 4 or something like that, I think that Jack Campbell's just going to have a crazy good year. I really do. All right, we've gotten through all that. So now I think we've gotten them all done, right? They're all out of the way.
Yep. Well, we could have a comeback player of the year. And, you know, everybody's going to say Aiden. And I already placed a bunch of bets on him being the comeback player of the year this year. But there's one player we're not talking about, and that's Marcus Davenport. He could be a comeback player of the year. And I tried to find his comeback player of the year listing anywhere on any of the betting sites. I could not find him. It's just too astronomical huge. I could not find anything.
So you going with Marcus?
I'm still going to go with Aiden, but I think Aiden wins the comeback player of the year for the entire NFL.
Really?
Yes.
I wonder who else is really in contention with that. Big shout out to Michael Garrity. It's just so nice to being able to be here in the morning. Missed my Rockhound family. Thank you, Michael, for being part of the mod crew, buddy. Glad to see you in here this morning. Appreciate it.
He's back to working day shift and got a little holiday today.
They got sick at nights already, huh?
His new job, he's got to be on days for like a year.
All right, so
prediction time.
Oh, Brent Lighton says he found the Marcus Davenport comeback player of the year fan to a 400-1 odds. Oh, I got to get in that.
I would love to get it. I can't
400-1.
I'm gonna have to bet that today. I got.
So does that mean for every $1 it's worth $400?
Yep. So put $10 on that sucker.
It's $4,000.
Yeah.
Put $100.
40 grand.
No one's gonna. He's not gonna win it just simply because no one's gonna. He would have to have a crazy good year for that to happen.
Yeah.
You know.
But hey, he was a former first round pick. Anything can happen.
Well, I took him as my comeback player. Not just for the Lions, but I took him as my comeback player, of the year award watch, simply because he has a ton to prove. And he has a lot of Lions fans to prove wrong. He needs to prove himself right. And that's what I think he's going to do. I think he's going to prove everybody wrong and go out there and play a good season. It doesn't mean that he needs to have 15 sacks or even 10, right? He doesn't. If he has 8 sacks this year, 7, that's great. You guys have heard me say it time and time again. I'd rather see 6 or 7 coming from Marcus, 9 or 10 or 11 coming from Aiden. 3 or 4 coming from Brian Branch, 3 or 4 coming from Kirby, 3 or 4 coming from DJ, 3 or 4 coming from Avante Maddox, 3 or 4 coming from, or 5 or 6 coming from Jack Campbell, a handful from Grant Stewart. I'd rather see the table spread out. Mm-hmm. Just like you see with Jared Goff, man, pitching that ball to 10 different guys in a game. It's the same thing here. I'd rather see it spread out. And the reason why, and I think a lot of people don't understand me with this take, is if you know that certain players are going to come in and do certain things, it's easy to pigeonhole them. But if you don't know, and if the defense is disguised, on any given play, it could be any given player coming at you, that's how you win football games. And that's how you affect a game in a much bigger fashion than just Aiden. Like at some point, they're just going to say, all right, double team Aiden and a chip. So he's out of the game. We know that Aiden's success level against double teams is like way down. Way down. Much difference when you look at Myles Garrett in double teams. He beats them all the time. It's a huge difference. Go look at the stats. I'll try to pull it this week when we do our preview show. What were you going to say?
Well, there's a bunch of people talking about J.J. McCarthy winning comeback player of the year in the chat. Well, he is not eligible to win comeback player of the year. You must have played at least one snap in the NFL to be able to get comeback player of the year.
One
so
snap
yes,
in the
he was
regular season.
Yeah, he was injured, but he's never played in the NFL. So there's no way that he can go look at the betting sites. They don't even list him.
Yeah. So take that there, funny boy, Rhodey.
Yeah.
I don't know who Funny Boy is. I don't know if he's a Lion or a Viking or whatever.
Might be a Michigan fan.
All right. Well, hey, good morning to everybody. I apologize. We've kind of stayed out of the chat this morning. That usually doesn't happen. It's just the way that it is. Tomorrow, Riley should be back on the show.
All right.
Should be back tomorrow. At least that's the goal. Let's get into the final part of today's show. Season predictions. And I've got a little a thing to go with this. I had AI do a model, and it worked on it this morning. And so we're going to go through each week, and then we're going to see what AI said too. So we're going to have our wins and losses, and we're going to call the each team or each game, week 1 through whatever, right?
Yep.
And then we're going to do AI with it. So let me just get a few of these things written real quick. Let me stop and start. Quick question. Can you guys hear my keyboard when I'm typing?
I could.
I know you can, but can they hear it? I'm still working on my noise gate.
Ah, gotcha.
I'm trying to get it perfected here. Everything's different. All the settings,
Mm-hmm.
Where did the chat go? Like, it just disappeared off my screen. Oh, there it is. Okay.
They say no, not hearing keyboard.
Good.
No on the keyboard.
All right. That means I did a good job so far. Give my one attaboy for the day.
And then somebody says yes, keyboard noisy.
Well, damn it.
And yes. That's funny.
Just can't.
No, yes, no.
It's weird how one person can hear it, but the next person can't.
Yeah.
I mean, every once in a while you might hear a loud space bar, but. I wish I could find our preseason, or with a way too early. Maybe it's in one of the. Maybe I actually labeled the show that way. I got to go look because I'll be interesting to hear what changed.
Nothing.
So this week, just so everybody knows, we're going to be getting into some unbiased reviews. Last year I did it way earlier, and so what I'm going to do is we are going to go through the NFC North, and we're going to talk about each positional group, and we're going to highlight which positional group we feel is the best positional group out of the North, rank them 1 through 4. Last year I was pretty spot on with a few of the calls. This year I am as confused as I think I've ever been. I don't really, the Parsons thing just threw a huge wrench into things, but simply because of positional group. So you don't know how they're going to use them just yet, but there's a few other things going on, especially with the Vikings, some changes there, but anyway, let's go. All right, so the Detroit Lions 2025 NFL season kicks off this weekend versus the Green Bay Packers. We're going to be giving you our breakdown for the Lions season predictions, and we've got a little bit of a helper with this. So AI is also going to give us their take. I had AI do a model this morning on the season and kind of give us some reasons as to why the Lions should win or shouldn't win. So it's going to be an interesting take. Here we go. Let's go with week 1. The Detroit Lions are facing Green Bay Packers away. Eric, I'd like to know what you think about this game in 30 seconds or less. We'll do each one and kind of give our quick take. Score prediction, if you want to. Win or loss is the most important.
Yep. So week 1, Detroit Lions at the Green Bay Packers. I have the Detroit Lions walking into Ford Field West, winning the game 28-21. And I don't think the addition of Parsons in only 4 practices is going to be enough to help the Green Bay Packers.
So why 28-21? Do you think that this is going to be a much closer game than anticipated?
I think we are going to be deadlocked in a bunch of very close games. I don't think that we're going to have a bunch of big blowouts like last year. I think that there's only 2 games that we might get a blowout this year, and that is the Browns game and the Giants game. That's it. I don't think we're going to have a lot of blowouts. It's going to be a really tight race in the NFC North, and I have all of the wins that I have for the Lions this year. I only have 2 games that aren't 1-score games.
Okay. Well, as we all heard, the Green Bay Packers kind of took the NFL by storm in the last 4 days with the trade for Micah Parsons, which absolutely broke the internet last Thursday. And because of that, you've seen a lot of different analysts jump ship and have now taken the Packers, inserted them over the Lions to win the NFC North. Once was a team that was finishing at the bottom of the NFC North this season, is now number 1, is the NFC North champs, and then a potential Super Bowl winner? Yeah, I don't think so. For me, this is not an easy win, much like Eric has it 28-21. I also have a win here, but I do believe the Lions are going to stumble just a little bit out of the gate. The Lions have done it in each of the last 4 seasons where they kind of get a little bit of a slow-going motor in the beginning, but then by week 4, they tend to pick up the juice and run away with it. So I've got this game as a win for the Detroit Lions, and I'm going to go 23-17. So I do also have this as a 1-score game. Lions take down the Packers in Ford Field West, as Eric said. AI predictability stats this morning says that the win probability for the Packers, for the Lions is 43.8%. Tough opener on the road. Packers still strong at home, and the Lions lose, according to my guy this morning on AI. I did find the article earlier that I wanted to compare it to. So SI also has the Lions walking into the Packers, stating a loss 28-23 by Christian Boer. Let's move on to the second game here. Home opener, Detroit Lions take on the Chicago Bears.
Well, this is where Benedict Johnson gets his first ass whooping. This is 31-17, the Detroit Lions defending their home turf, and they're going to show Ben Johnson he doesn't know quite as much as he thinks he knows.
Okay, so is that a win, a loss, and what's the score?
Yep. Win for the Lions, 31-17.
Win for the Lions, you said 31-17?
Yes, this is one of my 2 or 3 games where we're actually going to win by a few points.
Okay, so we'll go to AI first on this one. AI said it's a 6% win probability for your Detroit Lions. And the note, Lions dominate the weaker Bears squad. That's it. I didn't ask it to do any score predictions. I probably should have, but it did not. As far as Boer says, the Lions at home will be rocking a former offensive coordinator, Ben Johnson. And while I fully expect the Bears offense to be better than in years past, have some tricks up their sleeve, the Lions should be able to handle business in front of the home crowd, 33-17. So very close to your prediction. I'm going to one-up everybody. This is going to be the Lions' first 40 burger of the season.
Nice.
So, look, I'm not playing any games here. What I've asked for the Detroit Lions to do, this is my season wish, is just run the ball down Ben's throat. I want to see 300 yards of rushing in this game. I want it to be such an ass whooping that Ben turns, tucks tail, and goes back home to Chicago, not understanding what just happened. But then again, he should know full well what he's doing going up against the Detroit Lions, a team that he just left to go to an NFC North rival. 40. We're going to call it an even 40. I'm not sure how they're going to get there yet, but we're going to call it an even 40, and I have the Bears scoring just a measly 10 points.
Ooh, wow.
30-point win for the Detroit Lions in week 2. All right, let's go to week 3. And this is where the Lions take on the Ravens on Monday Night Football, I believe, in this game.
Yes.
And this is, like I said, it's a away game. So, Eric, what do you think about the Ravens here in week 3?
This is the Detroit Lions' first loss of the season, and I have the Detroit Lions losing this game 28-27. Even though we would like to get revenge on the last time we played at the Ravens, I just don't think it happens quite yet. This is our first stumble out of the gate.
28-27 loss?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I unfortunately was thinking the same thing, but then I realized something. I realized that the Lions should be fully healthy here in week 3. It's Baltimore in the early part of the fall, which should be good weather, right? And I honestly don't even remember if their stadium is open air or not.
It's open.
Yeah. So it should be great weather. Perfect football weather. You know,
Could be some rain.
3rd, 4th week of September. Not worried about the rain. I'm not worried about Jared Goff's small hands. I'm not worried about him being able to play in the cold. We've got 2 of the best running backs in the game. And I get that they also have a really good running back. Well, 2, if you count Lamar Jackson. But the Lions over the last 2 seasons have shut down the run game. It didn't matter if we did it on the backs of the starters or if we did it on the backs of our 3rd and 4th stringers last season. Nobody is really able to run against the Lions. That is not going to change this year. If anything, the Lions might be the best run defense in the game. I have the Lions winning this game. It might be a pivot from where I was earlier in the offseason, but I have the Lions winning this game 27-24. So, yeah, it is going to be close. It will be within 3 points. And that's my take. I think we're going to get it done. Boer, on the other hand, has the Lions going down in a loss. Trip to Baltimore is going to be difficult for the Lions early. It's tough to win at the Ravens, and the challenge that Lamar Jackson presents will be difficult for the Lions to navigate. His mobility will give the Lions defense fits, and the Ravens can use this to exploit the man coverage looks the Lions will provide. Detroit keeps it close. The Baltimore secures the win 27-24. So exact opposite score of what I have. But I'm going to go one step further. Please tell me, in the last 2 seasons, when the Lions have given up a bunch of yards to a running quarterback. Hasn't happened. Who?
Jaden Daniels.
Other than that game. And the reason why I'm going to exclude that game is we didn't have any starters in the game.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't have our defense. So this is a defense that we're expecting to do what they've always done and more because this defense is better.
And before that, it was the game with Lamar Jackson a couple years ago.
Could have been him, and it also was Justin Fields. He had a couple of good games against us, I believe, in 2022. So for me, I don't think that we're going to give up a bunch of yards to Lamar Jackson at all. We just got to shut the big guy down, Henry. That's it. And I'm expecting that he's going to get his yards, right? But when Lamar has to turn to throw, that's when our DBs are going to take care of business. So, again, I have us 3-0 to start. Let's go to week 4.
All right.
Oh, AI. I'm sorry. AI, they had us as a loss. Also mentions Lamar Jackson's mobility versus the young secondary. See, we're not young. We're not that young. All right, we got the Browns here, week 4 at home.
Yes. And we're going to see Shedeur Sanders for the first time, and the Lions are going to win 27-14 in Shedur's very first game as the starter after Joe Flacco breaks his leg in week 1, and Dylan Gabriel is no good in game 2 and 3.
Oh man, I don't like the broken leg talk here, but
I just whatever. Yeah, he gets old and goes to the retirement home.
Yeah. What was your score?
27-14. This is a butt whooping by the Lions at home over the Browns.
Well, like you, I do too believe that the Lions are going to be able to handle the Browns. Now, the Browns do present some unique things on their defense. Obviously, Myles Garrett coming in, that is going to present, some issues for the Lions. Now, fortunately, when the Lions had Frank Ragnow, they were able to handle just about every defensive end, in the league. Over the past couple of years, there really hasn't been an end or any sort of a pass rushing outside linebacker that has really bested our offensive line. This is giving the Lions, 3 weeks to kind of get prepared before they go up against a guy like Myles Garrett. I'm expecting Myles Garrett to give us a good game. I'm just not expecting Jared Goff, not to get the ball out early. I'm also expecting that the run game will be, alive and well in this game. Not so sure about Shedeur Sanders playing in this one, but if it is Joe Flacco, this is a game where Kirby Joseph is he's gonna eat his lunch and his dessert all at the same time. 2 picks for Kirby Joseph in this game. Lions are gonna win 31-13. As far as AI, let's see what our AI model says. Lions, Browns win for the Lions. Lions upgraded defensive line pressures. Well, Joe Flacco. I don't think that's a real story, right? Flacco's going to get a ton of pressure, man. The guy doesn't move. He's a statue back there. As far as Booer, he says that Cleveland's defense will cause some problems, but their uncertainty on the offensive side, particularly at quarterback, leaves more questions than answers. Detroit's defense should give Joe Flacco issues. There aren't enough playmakers around the veteran quarterback at this point, and that is a good point. They just don't have much going on there. Lions rebound from a tough loss on the road, 35-16. 35-16 for Booer, and I've got 31-13. The one thing that I'll say is there's been a common tradition for the Lions. We've never lost 2 games in a row since 2022, I believe, right? So that is a tradition that we'll keep this year. Right now, I have us 4-0 at the break of the first quarter, and I got our first multi-pick game for Kirby Joseph. Week 4. All right, now week 5. Last year we had a bye. This year we're on the road to Cincinnati. So we go away, home, away, home, away. Very tough schedule to start the season. Week 5, the Detroit Lions are going to take on Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Trey Hendrickson, Shamar Stewart. It's a good matchup. It's a great matchup. But I don't think it's going to be enough for the Cincinnati Bengals. Eric, walk us through what your prediction is for this game.
Well, for the Cincinnati Bengals, I think that this is going to be our closest game of the entire season. This is going to be a 1-point game. I think it's going to come down to who has the ball at the very end of the game. And I think that's going to be the Detroit Lions. And I think they're going to win 35-34. Lots of points going to get scored in this one.
Clearly, you don't think our defensive backfield is going to take the ball away.
Well, I just think this is going to be one of those tight games. Joe Burrow has been on a tear the last couple of years. He can get the ball to his guys. So it's going to be all about, I don't know. They don't have much of a run game. And I don't know what they have to bring for defense. They have their sack master in Trey Hendrickson, the guy that everybody wanted in Detroit. So we're going to see what he can do to a game. But I just believe that the Lions are going to squeak one out at Cincy.
So AI thinks that the Lions are going to drop one here to the Bengals, saying that the Burrow and Chase combo is just going to be too much to handle on the road. I don't think so. I think that what we've witnessed with this Lions defense, especially against the number 1 wide receivers over the last couple of seasons, is they've done an excellent job completely eliminating the Vikings in Week 18 last year. Now, I understand that we've got a different set of circumstances every single season, but if you don't think that DJ Reed is an upgrade, and the fact that he's gone against the number 1s on just about every team in the league over the last 4 seasons, DJ Reed can handle his own. And I don't think that there's going to be any worry about DJ Reed on Jamar Chase in this game. Will Jamar Chase go for probably 80, 90 yards? Probably. Will he get a touchdown in this game? Probably. The goal here, or the trick, is Terry and Arnold. He has to be able to handle T. Higgins. And if he can do that with a combination of Kirby Joseph over the top, or maybe the Lions finally go into a little bit of a zone look here, a little bit less man-to-man, I think that would be a good play. But I don't think that their defensive line is going to have enough to pressure Jared Goff. Trey Hendrickson's been great. He missed the entire offseason. This is now the 5th week of the season, so he should be in game shape by now. I just don't think it's enough. And what I'm really going to be stoked about is after the game, when Trey Hendrickson doesn't have a great game, that I get to laugh in the faces of everybody that just wanted edge, because he's not going to be able to do anything significant, at least I think, to be able to damage the Lions' opportunity in this game. Jahmyr Gibbs goes for a double dose in this game. He gets a pass and he gets a TD on the ground, without a doubt. Lions are going to win. I think, too, it will be a little bit of a closer game. What was your score again? 35-34?
34.
I think it's going to be a little bit less than that. I'm not going to see a huge barrage of scoring. I don't think that our DBs are going to let up a bunch of scoring in this game. I'm going to probably back it off about 10-ish points. So I'm going to go 27-23. Detroit Lions win. And I've got the Gibbs 1 run and 1 reception TD in this game. Early call. All right, week 6. Week 6, the Detroit Lions go away to the Chiefs. Back in Kansas City. Just a couple of seasons ago, the Lions started off their season knocking the Super Bowl champs off the pedestal in week 1, winning just a very tight, close game, 21-20. This year, they head out to Arrowhead in week 6. It's going to be a brutal matchup. One where I think the Lions have the edge in every category outside of, sure, quarterback. I mean, you're going to have to put Mahomes above Goff right now just in the rankings. But I think from a pure bred pocket passing quarterback to another, that's where Jared Goff has the edge. AI has the Lions losing this game, dropping 2 games in a row. Eric, what do you think?
I also have the Detroit Lions dropping this game with a caveat. If Brian Branch gets a pick 6, we win the game. If he gets tackled before he crosses the goal line, we do not win the game. So I have the Kansas City Chiefs winning this game 27-24 under the bright lights of Sunday Night Football.
27-24 loss call.
Yep.
And so you're thinking that Brian Branch is going to double back and get another pick 6, and or that's if he does double back and get another pick 6, that they would win the game.
It swings it the other way, because that then instead of having to settle for a field goal, they get a touchdown and they win by 3 points.
So in the previous week
or 4,
week 5, Booher had the Lions winning. I'm sorry. In week 5, Booher had the Lions losing against the Bengals.
Mm-hmm.
Booher has the Lions winning against the Chiefs 34-31. And the record so far at 3-3, even at 500 on the season.
And I'm at 4-2.
This is a tough one for me. I really don't think the Chiefs are that great. Kelsey's older. Mahomes is older. Rashee Rice is suspended for like the whole darn year.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's suspended against us also.
Yep. So
for 6 weeks.
I just don't see where the Chiefs are going to stack up. As long as the Lions are healthy, that's my own caveat. We have to be healthy to beat these teams. These are tough teams. But this is also why the depth was created. You're right. I'm going 6-0 to start the season. Now, this isn't my final. Like I always do one more before the start. because I have to look at all of, the positional groups and the players and everything to kind of really tie it in, right? And that one I'll actually bet this year. But I do see where we can win this game. I don't see Travis Kelce having a big game. Obviously, Rashee Rice isn't there. Patrick Mahomes, we've bottled him up before. And if you rattle that guy, if you get any pressure on Mahomes at all, he's not good. It's the teams that can't get pressure on Patrick Mahomes that he just totally deflates. So that for that reason, I think we're going to get plenty of pressure. That's going to be the difference in this game. This is going to be a game where we're able to dial up at least 20 pressures in this game against Patrick Mahomes. So I've got to win, but I'm going to go lower scoring. I think this could end up being a defensive match where your Lions offense might have, a little bit of trouble here and there. This tough schedule to start the season could start to wane in. But I don't see us scoring less than 20. So I'm going to go 21-17. Detroit Lions win. And I'm going to say that the defense wins the game with pressure and a late fumble or interception. Okay, week 7, getting close to that bye week. The Detroit Lions get back home, and they get back home to take on the Vikings. This is going to be our first shot taking on what?
Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay on Monday night, October 20th.
Why does my schedule say the Vikings week 7?
I don't know. We don't play the Vikings till week 9.
Hold on. Sorry. After the Chiefs, we go to Tampa Bay.
There we go.
Or, we get back home for Tampa Bay. Excuse me. We get back home for Tampa Bay.
On Monday night, under the lights.
Monday Night Football, October 20th, 7 p.m. This is going to be a tough game. It's going to be a really tough game. They beat us last time that they were in Ford Field. Are they going to beat us again, Eric?
No, this is a revenge game, and Baker Mayfield is not going to have his way with us this time. We are going to win. He's still going to be a thorn in our side, but it's going to be a 31-27 barn burner at Ford Field. The Detroit Lions come out ahead.
31-27.
Yep. I predict the Lions will be in their black jerseys that day as well.
I haven't even looked at that. I didn't see the season pins yet. Once I see the season pins, that'll tell us.
Yep. And we won't see those until
the
Bears game.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Bears game. And they'll probably only have that game out. They won't have the full set until the end of October, like they did last year. That way you're buying doubles and triples of everything.
So this is I guess this is a game that could go either way. Mike Evans obviously still leads this wide receiver room. The dude has been super consistent, 10 seasons with 1,000 yards. You've got the rookie wide receiver, Mika Egbuka. He could be an interesting pickup he could leapfrog Mike Evans in his first year. I just haven't seen a ton of Ohio State receivers really do that. Right? Tez Johnson expected to contribute early. I'm not so sure that's going to happen in this game either. Their defense is what's physical and opportunistic, especially in that front seven. The offense, the defense or the offensive line has some depth concerns, a little bit shaky with knee injury across the front. And then you have Chris Godwin. He's out right now, isn't he? Is he still out? He's still recovering?
I'm not sure.
I think he's out till at least week 5. Was he not? Either way, it's not going to change. It's not going to change my prediction. I think it could be a tighter game. But I thought Chris Godwin dislocated his ankle in week 7 of last year. Yeah, he did. For that reason, I don't think the Lions are going to drop 2 to the Bucs at home. And that's right. I've got the Lions going 7-0 right now to start the season before the bye week. I think the later games, the harder games, once you get past the Ravens, the Browns and the Bengals, I know the Bengals had a crazy good year offensively last year, but go look at their schedule. Just go look at their schedule. I think it tells you everything. The Chiefs, they're a perennial good football team. But again, look at their roster and the aging of the roster. And I think you'll see some things there that maybe the Lions can capitalize. Just taking one player, out of that mix. I mean, they have Xavier Worthy, right? I mean, he's a speedster. Again, I don't think that the Lions are going to really drop a whole lot. But again, for the Bucs and the Lions at home on Monday night, the Lions they don't lose when the lights are the brightest, right? They just don't. They don't lose 2 times in a row, and I don't think that they're going to lose, a second game in a row to any one team. They've played the Bucs now multiple times in the last 3 seasons. So they're getting to understand Todd Bowles. Here's the difference. The Lions are the one that's different this year. New offense, new defensive scheme. This isn't the same Lions that the Bucs have played in seasons previous. This isn't the same team, the Chiefs have faced. This isn't the same team that the Bears have faced. It's a different team. It's a different scheme. Lions are going to win in week 7 before the bye. Points in this game, I think it's always been a tight game. So I'm going to go 23-20. Lions win a tight one against the Bucs. Week 8 is a bye. We win the bye week. Remember we used to always, you'd see those gifs about the Lions, finally get their first win of the year, and it was always the bye week.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not same old Lions anymore, though.
Well, they're still alive and kicking.
Yeah, those fans are.
It must be miserable to live that way.
Yeah.
All right, let me get a few more of these written up here.
Brent Lighton says, Will, you misspoke. Not 7-0, 17-0. We're going to have a historic season against the toughest schedule ever.
They could, man. I wouldn't be surprised. I know that there's probably going to be a game early that they potentially drop. And that's just because that's the nature of starting a season for the Lions.
You always drop one you're not supposed to.
Right. I just hope it's not the first 2 weeks, but I think if there is a game that we would drop in the first 3 weeks, I think, like I said before, if I remember my schedule prediction before, it was 3-1 in the first quarter. We lost to the Ravens. The second quarter there, or getting through week 8, I'm pretty sure I had us beating the Chiefs, losing to the Bengals, beating the Bucs. So we were
4-2 going into.
Yeah, what is that? 4-2.
That's what I have right now. It's 4-2.
No, that would have been 5-2. So that would have been 5-2 before the bye. I think that's more realistic. But let's get to the second half of the season here. Week 9. Now they take on the Vikings. They've got their second home game in a row in a span of 3 weeks. So they're home, they're rested, they're feeling good. Everybody should be healthy. The ones that aren't, they're resting throughout the bye week. The Vikings' first opportunity to bring J.J. McCarthy into town. J.J. comes back home, so to speak. What happens? Oh, by the way, AI. Hold on, I forgot. AI.
Yep.
Had us losing to the Chiefs.
And what to the Bucs?
Why don't I see it? Hold on. Got to go back to the other screen.
Orny U of M dad says, Will, I wish I had your enthusiasm to start 7-0. I think our O-line will struggle for the first few weeks.
Remember last year when I said that I thought we could go 16-1 or 15-2, and then it happened. Because one of my preseason, one of my post preseason predictions was up there.
Yeah,
and then we made the final, and it was a little bit different.
My final was 15-2 last year.
You nailed it, and I was 14-3.
Yeah, and I'm going to stick with mine this year too.
So 27-20 is what the AI model had.
Okay.
All right, so let's do it now. Vikings.
The Vikings come to town on November 2nd at 1 p.m. And JJ this, JJ that. I don't care which JJ they're using. They're still not going to win the game. JJ to JJ. I just don't care. It's going to be 35-27. We have their number. I don't see that changing. So the Lions are going to win 35-27 to go to 6-2 on the season.
It's kind of interesting that we start with 2 and we end with 2 this year in the NFC North. It's a schedule that the NFL has been dreaming to give us, especially given the way that we've been playing. They're just maybe trying to make it difficult. I don't know.
What did I say before the schedule even came out? That they should put 3 divisional rival games. You should do Green Bay, Bears, Vikings. That should be your first 3 games, and then your last 3 games. So you have all of your other fluff in the middle. I think all the teams should do that. I think that should be the schedule for every team. The first 3 and then the last 3.
I don't know if there's a way that they can make that happen, but
I don't know why not.
I mean, I think a lot of it has to do with these stadiums being rented out or not available. But I think that, if you want to make this super competitive and fairness, that you would have all teams start the same way. Every team starts with a divisional matchup. Every team ends with a divisional matchup, at least one. And then in the middle, every team plays a divisional matchup, and then a second game in the middle, every team plays a divisional matchup.
Yeah. And every other year you go home, away, home.
Yeah, exactly. You can have the same schedule like that. Home, away, home. I love it. You just make it all the same.
Year. Yep.
But maybe there's a real narrative. I don't know. But here we go. What was your score?
My score was 35-27. The Detroit Lions beat the Minnesota Vikings.
Wow. That close by 1 TD?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What did AI say? AI said the Lions lose to the Vikings. JJ McCarthy finds his rhythm, and the Detroit Lions secondary is exposed. I don't necessarily agree with that, but let's see what Boer says here for SI. He says the Lions return from the week off to take on division rival. The Vikings and Lions have developed a nice rivalry in recent years, as the 2 teams have won each of the last 3 division titles between them. Minnesota has J.J. McCarthy behind center. There's some uncertainty about how he'll be able to lead the offense. In his first trip to Ford Field, he deals with the Lions defense that makes all the right moves in a very strong performance, winning 31-13. Has the Lions at 5-3. I'm going to continue my winning trend. Here. I don't think our secondary is going to be exposed. I think the person that's going to be exposed here is J.J. McCarthy. We have seen what the Lions were able to do in Week 18, and I get it that was Sam Darnold and that J.J. McCarthy is much more mobile than what Sam Darnold is, but essentially he's a rookie. And any time that you're able to put a former U of M grad and another U of against each other, Aiden's going to rip his head off. He is not going to go easy. Aiden's going to show him what it's all about. So there's no love lost between Aiden and McCarthy in this game. Aiden's going to get 2 sacks in this game. It's going to be his first double sack game of the season. And I think that the Lions are going to take down the Vikings in a thriller. And we're going to go 28. We're going to go 28 to...
Oh, beat them by a field goal.
28 to
so
20.
Funny.
28 to 20. Yep. And then
Last
we're going to go
Bate,
8 and 2 sacks.
last second Bates field goal would have been way more fun. And
That's
something
your job.
AI
you
is
call those.
Yeah, something AI is forgetting. It completely forgetting right now. Home field advantage for the Detroit Lions. One of the loudest, craziest stadiums in the entire NFL, and no one puts that into their predictions for this season. Watch how many false starts they have with JJ McCarthy under center.
Here's what else people are forgetting. And this is what I hope doesn't happen. For all of you U of M lackeys, I love and appreciate all you. Remember, we keep Saturdays out of Sundays here as much as we possibly can. If you root for JJ McCarthy when he's coming onto the field, that's a problem. If you're cheering for JJ McCarthy to come onto the field, that's a problem. This is an opponent now. He is no longer your football god at Michigan. He plays for the Vikings. You have to treat him like Matthew Stafford. You have to. Unfortunately, it's going to hurt. But this is where you have to separate Saturday from Sunday. You got to boo the guy. You got to get in his head, because that's what he's expecting, is that everyone is going to welcome him back to Michigan. And hopefully, for those of you that are there, you don't do it. Otherwise, you're going to give him the edge. What's more important? JJ McCarthy getting welcomed back to Michigan, or the Detroit Lions winning a football game? You take your pick. It's up to you. I can't tell you how to fan. It's not my job.
Any fans sitting around me who cheer when JJ comes out, they're not going to like me too much.
It's nothing against, your guy. It's just, it's hey, now it's real. It's the next level. Anyway, I got us winning again. So right now we're undefeated through week 9. Again, I'll put out my final when I put out the Rocks Locks. But again, I wouldn't say that we're going to win if I really don't think that we could win. I just have to get into the crux of the roster and go through every team, like I said earlier, and to see who's got players down right now. Commanders, is that Commanders of week 10?
Yes.
What's next? This is a big game.
At the Commanders. Yep. This one is the game I don't think is going to be the tough challenge that everyone thinks it's going to be.
Ooh.
I think that Washington is going to fall off. They found magic in a bottle. They had new coordinators, a new coach, a new quarterback. They had new everything. So no one had tape on them. And listen, if not for a defender of the Bears having the biggest flub in the world on a Hail Mary, Washington loses that game against the Bears, and Washington doesn't even make the playoffs last year.
That's interesting, isn't it?
So I'm going to tell you this right now. The margin for Washington last year was so razor thin for them to even make the playoffs. The Bears should have beat them. Okay, the Bears with Caleb Johnson and that defunct offense and their horrible coaching staff, they almost beat them.
Did you say Caleb Johnson on purpose?
Caleb Williams. Yeah, Caleb Johnson. There you go. They should have lost that game. They shouldn't have made the playoffs. We should have been playing someone else. And stylistically, that they were a matchup nightmare for us. They came on at the end of the year. They're just like when we went 9-8, and we would have been a nightmare for anyone in the playoffs. That's what Washington ended up being, and kudos to them. They made it to an NFC championship game, but they shouldn't have been there to begin with. They shouldn't have made the playoffs. The Bears should have beat them. So I'm going to go, they're going to fall off a little bit this year. I don't have them as a playoff team this year. I'm going to go Lions 33, Washington 14.
One more time on the score.
Lions 33, Washington 14.
Damn, that's a big win.
Yep, this is a revenge game.
Okay.
Trying to figure out where your losses are, aren't you?
I'm trying, man. It's hard. It's hard. I think that we're going to fold like a tent in one of these games. I just don't know which one. It's just these games are so well placed. Like the Ravens, the Bengals, the Chiefs back to back, and the Bucks. I mean, that 3-game stretch right there is so tough. They're going to drop one there somewhere. Then the Commanders after the Vikings. But then you have the Commanders and the Eagles, another tough game stretch. It's tough. But you went 33-14. And right now you have the Lions at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 3? 7 and 2?
7 and 2 right now.
Oh, wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2.
I'm at 7 and 2 through week
7
10.
and 2. So I'm not that far off from being 9 and 0. I mean, you're at 7 and 2. I'm just finding a way for us to win a couple of close games.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for week 9, are we in week 9? Week 10, excuse
Week
me.
10.
Against the Commanders, AI has us dropping 2 games in a row. Vikings and Commanders. Revenge game for the Lions. We get upset again. Boer says the Detroit Lions are going to win 27-13. Eric
Not too far.
says the Lions are going to win 33-14.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to look at. Oh, did I just close that? What did I do? I think I closed it. I was looking at how many players the Commanders lost this year. The changes to their team. Cameron Curl they lost. Curtis Samuel, Antonio Gibson, Kendall Fuller, Cody Barton, Sadiq Charles.
Brian Robinson. They shipped him off to the 49ers.
Just shipped out Brian Robinson, which that's why I took Brian Robinson, because I'm not expecting McCarthy to play the whole season. And they moved on from Jonathan Allen, Jeremy Chin, De'Ami Brown, Olamide Zacchaeus, KJ Osborne, Benjamin St. Just, Cornelius Lucas, Derek Foster, Michael Walker. So when you look at a lot of the players that they've lost, and then you go back and look at the team that they had last year, I don't think it's any surprise that they won some football games. They had a pretty deep team.
Mm-hmm.
And then they had, a rookie that could make some plays. But just like you said, this is a revenge game. The Lions don't lose twice. And I have the Lions. What does this make it? 9-0?
That'd make them. Yeah.
Yeah, 9-0, right? I have the Lions going 9-0 right now. It's crazy. But is it?
If they got through that at 9-0, they would be number 1 in every friggin' power ranking. There's
for
no way.
sure. I think if they go 7-0, they'll or 6-0, they're going to be up there. People are going to start talking different. They're not going to worry about the coordinators so much.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're going 9-0, and your score at 33-14, I think is a little outlandish. I think it's a bit much. I think it'll be a little bit closer. This game's going to depend on health. I don't think it's going to be a boat race. I don't think that, each team is just going to go at each other like we did with the Bills last year. That was a depleted defense going up a great offense, and the Bills just didn't have a defense going up against our great offense. So I think this game's going to stay under 60 points. I'm going to go 20. Nope. I'm going to go 31. And we're going to go 24. So it'll be by a touchdown. A little bit little bit more points than what you had. So, like I said, AI had us losing. Boer has us winning. Eric has us winning. I have us winning. What's up for week 11? Week 11,
right.
The Detroit Lions are on the road to Philly. Not the city of brotherly love. This is anything but in Philly. It's one of the worst places to visit as a fan. This is a game that is on my destination list this year. Was it Sunday or Monday Night Football, this game?
It's a Sunday night game.
So it's Sunday Night Football. The Lions just don't lose on prime time. Eric, tell us what's up in this game.
Well, I think we're finally going to lose one in prime time. I have Philly beating us 27-24. This is November 16th, so we could have snow, we could have cold weather. I went last October to the Packer game, and it was a snow-rain mix. I don't want to go sit outside in Philly in this kind of weather. Screw that. I'm going to watch this one on my TV at home. And I'm not going to have that long drive all the way back to the UP from Philadelphia. So I have the Detroit Lions dropping their third game of the year, 27-24.
So it's not so crazy to think that we could be unbeaten or only 3 losses right now.
Mm-hmm.
Elaine Hill says Lions 31, Eagles 35. All right. We got an L. As much as I like to say that the Lions would have been able to beat Philly last season had we stayed healthy, I think we would have. I think that we would have handled Philly. Now, Philly has had some changes this year. They did not remain. The reason why I think that they could win, like when I do my final, the reason why I feel like they could win, who did they lose for coordinators this year?
Yep. They lost their offensive coordinator for sure.
Exactly. So they're restarting with their offensive coordinator again. It's like their third one, right? In the last 3 seasons or 4 seasons or whatever it's been now.
Yep.
Now, I'm not going to say that that's any reason to lose because we've lost our coordinators too. But they've just been kind of going through having to relearn a new process every season. Eventually that gets old, right? Jalen Hurts may not be as good in this new scheme. But on the defensive side of the football, they lost Milton Williams, Josh Sweat, Darius Slay, Isaiah Rodgers, Owen Burke, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Mekhi Becton, Kenneth Gainwell. They lost some significant pieces on this team. That's why I feel the Lions could win. It is not the same defense by a long shot. And I don't really think that they replaced each one of them with equal to or better than player. They lost one half of what made them or helped them win the Super Bowl. Their defensive line. And for that reason, I think that Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are going to have a great day on the grass. But I'm going to give us a loss for right now. When I put out my final, you'll see what I mean. But I'm gonna have us losing this game 28-21 for right now. Eric, what was your score again?
27-24.
27-24. All right, week 12.
Week 12, the New York Giants back at home, 1:00. This is our barn burner, 21-0.
21-0.
21-0
Against the Giants.
Yeah, the Giants just they're a mess at quarterback. They got Malik Neighbors, and they have a really good defense.
The AI guy says that we lose against the Eagles. The Lions shocked the defending champs with Gibbs and Hutchinson. Oh, look at that. And then against the Giants, Detroit dominates the week. New York Giants pass rush. Interesting take. Boer says that the Lions lose to the Eagles and then they pounce on the Giants. Let's see, 20-14. Has the Lions at 7-4 right now. Well, for me, is this the game that we're not supposed to lose, that we lose?
It might be.
Could be. What do the Giants have that's really different? Is this an opportunity that Jackson Dart gets in the game finally? That Russell Wilson, his time in the league just might be over and Jackson Dart takes the reins? If that happens, huh?
What if it's Jamison Williams?
Oh, what do you mean?
Or Jameis Winston.
Oh, Jameis Winston.
Yeah.
I don't know. Could be Jackson, though. I think Jackson Dart would get in before Jameis.
Oh.
The Giants have some talent that I think is going to surprise some teams, just like Boer says. Do we have enough to hold off the Giants? The Giants have always been tough against us for some reason. But this is a home game. I'm going back to my winning ways. Lions win. 25-18. Weird score.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some missed kicks or something. Maybe a safety. I'm not sure. Oh, we got the DC press conference now at 11 o'clock. I forgot all about that today.
Oh, of course.
All right, let's roll through this. Week 13.
All right. Thanksgiving Day, the Green Bay Packers come to town. And once again, we get them in another close one. 24-21, the Lions win.
Two years in a row, we win on Turkey Day?
Yes.
Huh.
Starting a new streak.
This is the game that I feel is a spoiler.
They got us on Thanksgiving 2 years ago. It's not going to happen again. That's the last time we lost to the Packers.
They got Micah Parsons now.
I don't give a darn. We will not lose that game. That's okay. So Thanksgiving 24-21, that is we run it down to the 7-yard line with 4 seconds to go and Jake Bates kicks the winner.
Okay.
On Thanksgiving.
What was your score again?
24-21.
That's right. 3 points. Okay. I'll have us winning this game. I don't think it's really going to be extremely close. But Thanksgiving Day games have always been somewhat tight, and we've definitely lost our fair share. Can the Lions continue the trend of winning on Thanksgiving for the foreseeable future? Well, let's hope. Let's hope that they continue the trend this season. I do believe that the Lions could drop a game in the division. And I think that if there is a game that we're going to drop, this would be the game. I don't think it's week 18, or I don't think it's week 17 in Minnesota on Christmas. I do think that there's a potential that we could drop the last game of the year against the Bears. Cold, outside, in Chicago. That's a tough game. But this game right here is a win. Lions are going to win a tight one, 17-13. Week 14. Lions.
All right.
Lions are at home versus the Cowboys.
Yep. So this is an 8:15 game on December 4th against the Dallas Cowboys. The Lions are going to kick some butt. It's going to be 28-21 Detroit Lions.
28-21 Lions for Eric.
Yeah. This is the one where J-Mo wins it on a walk-off touchdown.
A walk-off touchdown. Well, I don't think that we're going to lose to the Cowboys. Doesn't matter that they have Parsons or not. I think that team is just a hot mess. We light up the Cowboys in a primetime game. 45-13. Week 15.
Week 15, we have the LA Rams. Now, this is my fourth and final loss for the Detroit Lions for this season. And I have the Detroit Lions losing a close one to old Matt Stafford on his way out the door at 20-17 because Puka Nacua and that defense for the Rams is going to be just too much. Even though there will be more Lions fans than LA Rams fans at that game.
Okay. Well, I'm the exact opposite here. You have us losing 20-17.
Yep.
Okay. Unless there's a trade. Right now, I see the Lions winning this game out in LA. Matthew Stafford's down for the season. Jimmy Garoppolo gets his second start of the year leading into this game. And the Lions take care of business here 35-10. Week 16. Back in Minnesota on Christmas.
Nope. Week 16 is at home against Pittsburgh.
Sorry, Pittsburgh.
Yep. I have us winning a close one at 4:25 p.m. on December 21st, 21-20 over the Pittsburgh Steelers and Aaron Rodgers, if he's still in the game.
Okay.
From a Hail Mary from Jared Goff.
Hail Mary from Jared Goff. Hail Mary from Jared Goff. I like the sound of that.
Yeah.
It's not the
one from Rodgers.
Yeah, we get him back, right? The Hail Mary or whatever. Yeah. All right.
And it keeps them out of the postseason.
Steelers at the Lions, December 21st, 2025. Aaron Rodgers, I don't care if he's in or out of the game. This is a tough team. The Pittsburgh Steelers, we didn't do the AI here. So AI told us that we'd lose against the Cowboys, we'd lose against the Packers or the Rams, we win against the Steelers. SI says that Christian Boer says that we would win against the Cowboys in a tight one, that we would win against the Rams by 12, and we would lose to the Steelers. And that's kind of where I'm going. I see a loss here. You got to win. I forget what your score was.
21-20.
There we go.
But I do have a tight one.
Yeah. I could see a loss here, but I'm going to go with one more win here for the season. I think at least for the Lions. It could be a tighter game. It may not. I'm going to go 21. I'm going to go 21-17. The Pittsburgh Steelers are a game that we could drop. This is a very tough team. Outside of Aaron Rodgers, this is a very tough team. Offensive line and defensive lines, I think that they're going to be fairly tough in Pittsburgh. All right, now we're finishing the year out with our last two divisional games. Minnesota on Christmas.
On Christmas Day. Oh, what a bummer this is that they have to play on Christmas. Can't go to the game. Have to stay home for this one. Lions are going to be pissed off about it. 33-17. Since they can't see their families, they're going to crush the Minnesota Vikings, who are already knocked out of playoff contention.
33 what? 17?
Yep.
Looks like I just got a package finally from. Which don't say anything. I'll just show everybody tomorrow. Real quick, I just want to make a brief announcement before I get to the final two games. I'd like to welcome U of M Dad into the mod crew. U of M Dad has been super fantastic for this channel. I think that he's, and not to say that the rest of you are not, but he was nominated behind the scenes, and so I want to welcome in U of M Dad. If you would like to accept, you just accept. Your invite is along the way. Not everybody can be mods, but honestly, every single one of you could be a mod. It's a lot of work, right? I mean, everyone shows up, and not that you have to show up to every single show, because you don't. It's really up to you. When you show up and when you don't, but they put a lot of work in, and we really appreciate our mod crew. So thank you, U of M Dad. And we had one other one in here that was nominated. Let me see where he is. Let's see if he's in here this morning. Is Kevin Barr in here? I don't see his name.
Might have been earlier.
And I'm not saying that we're done. We'll keep adding some as we go. I don't see Kevin Barr in here. Jay Cruz in says, "Hey, how about me?" Thanks for the $5 super chat, Jay. Appreciate you, man. Haven't seen him in. Okay. We'll get to more throughout the week. So we'll have some new mods that we're going to add this week. And again, I appreciate all of your hard work. Just like everybody else, you guys are all needed. Every single person in this chat right now. You guys are all needed, welcomed, and appreciated. Thank you. Okay, where was I? Week 17?
Yeah.
You had us winning 33-17.
You got it.
Okay, I too have us winning 33. No, I'm sorry. I do have us winning. Was it 28, 31 to 24? A little bit closer of a game. And now we get into week 18, and I have us at 15-1.
Wow.
15-1. A lot of people said we couldn't run it back. Maybe we go one up. Maybe we finish 15-2. Eric, what do you think?
Well, I have us with 4 losses, and I'm going to keep us that way. The Bears are completely depleted. They're not in the playoffs. The Lions go in and truck them to win the number 1 seed at 13-4 with a 35-0 ass whooping.
A 35-0 Blankenship. All right. I love it. I love the energy. But this is where we have a pivot for me. It's cold. Jared Goff has small hands. He can't throw the football in the weather. Can't play in the cold. Ben Johnson's too good. We lost our coordinators. But we made it to 15-1. We've shut everybody up. Do we go 15-2? This is a game that we're resting people. Dan Campbell is not going to make the mistake of playing an unnecessary game when you've already wrapped up the NFC. We lose because we rested. It's that simple. Ben, I'm not going to give you any cupcakes today. We only lose because we rested. And I think that Dan Campbell finally wakes up to the reality that it's not worth it to suffer an injury in a meaningless game. So the Lions lose 17-10 to the Bears in week 18. It does not change whether the Bears make it or break it into the playoffs. 15-2 back-to-back for me. My final will come out tomorrow night, Tuesday night off the cuff. Eric, you were 14-3?
Yep.
Which was my early call from the beginning of the season.
13-4.
I'm sorry, 13-4. 14-3 was my early call from the beginning of the season. 14-3 for Eric. Okay.
13-4. So I did that in our way too early. I said 13-4, and I'm sticking to it. Same 4 losses. Nothing's changing for me.
Lions will still win, even starting Kyle Allen, says Jack 2125. I love it.
Aha. See, I like it.
Look, I'm just expecting us to be fresh too, like what Chris just said. Who is it? Krista just said, being fresh for the playoffs. I'm with you there. I think that's more important than winning a unnecessary game.
But what if that gets us the number 1 seed again?
I think we've already got it wrapped up by then. I don't even think it's a chance that if you're at 15-1 already, because last year it took us 15 wins to get it, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this time we'll already have 15 wins. But this is my absolute best scenario, and that is losing the last game of a meaningless game and then dropping a game to in week 11. Gonna find AG here. If you got a bounce, you just let me know. I'm gonna bring in AG. I just want to see what he's talking about.
I'm gonna take off because I got some stuff I gotta go do. We're going grocery shopping. The wife's probably wondering where the heck I am. So I'll see you guys all tomorrow.
All right, buddy. We'll see you. Have a good day, man. Take care. I'll be right back here with AG. Actually, do you know what? Dan Campbell's press conference was supposed to be at 11:30. Did that happen yet? No. I'm not going to stay on for that because that's 14 minutes away. I will come on and do a recap of the presser, but I don't think I can push it. I know that we have some stuff we have to get done today too. So we'll call that a wrap. I think that was a long day. It was a long few hours kind of getting through some of this stuff. Obviously, we'll be back for tomorrow. We will not be on for 3 hours tomorrow. I can promise you that. This week is the beginning of the preview shows. So in a game week, we're going to have a dedicated show where we're going to talk about the matchup with the Packers. So we're going to dive real deep into everything, stats, analytics, insights, all sorts of stuff. Our post-game shows, let me just kind of give you guys a brief rundown of what the post-game shows are going to start to look like. I've always done it a lot differently than everybody else. I do want to bring in more phone calls this year. I want to have a dedicated time for you guys to be able to call in because the most important part of this is hearing you guys. So please call in when we're doing the post-game shows. The first 15, 20, maybe max 30 minutes of a post-game show, I'm going to try to keep it to 20 or less, is all matchup, right? So it's going to look like this. We're going to go into first quarter stats, second quarter stats, halftime recap, third quarter, fourth quarter, in-depth analysis of the entire game. We'll do a recap and a wrap-up portion to kind of identify exactly what happened. Now, I'm not going to give away all the goodies because I don't want someone to copy me. A lot of people try to copy what we're doing over here. I don't want it to get out. So let's just say that I have a page under the in-depth analysis portion that covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21 different in-depth analysis metrics or key metrics, key analytics, explosive stats, you name it. It covers a ton. And it's not what you're going to get from all of the other, shows out there. You're not going to get it from them. We're going to give it to you. When I truly say that I'm a stat analytical kind of guy or statistics and analytics, I am. That's just what I do. I know that people say that they do stats and analytics. They don't. They read some junk, right? I pay for some very, very good stats and analytical companies that break everything down. And it's things that a lot of people don't even know about. So we will break it all down and give you all of the goodies because you deserve it, right? You need to know why your team is winning to really get underneath it all. And this is why, when I make my calls for the year, when I finally put out my full and finals, we get so close on a lot of things because of those stats and the studying of all of the analytics. Simply put, for the edge position, I get sick of talking about it, but the reason why I never thought that Brad would go after it was 1, the cap, 2, the draft future, but 3, the most important thing is the stats and the analytics behind it. When you really look deep at what the Lions have done, they're able to do what no other team is really doing with the guys that they currently have and had last year. So why would you want to pay through the nose, mortgage your future, when those metrics might change a little? Just a little, not even a ton. Like if the divide was this, right, and you got that much better, then I would understand. But it wouldn't be like that. At least that's what the stats have told us. We'll talk about, what the Lions did well, right? What the opponent did well. But then we're going to break down 8-9 stats in between those topics for each. We'll get into some other highlights for individual players. And then at some point, throughout the week, I'll probably start doing the film breakdown. So the other channel that I haven't been using, I just been kind of letting it sit there because that one really started for the Lions. I'm probably going to go back and just use that as the film room. I was doing film for members only, but since that all gets hit and you can't monetize it, I'm probably going to throw a ton of film stuff on that channel that I won't monetize and then do some other breakdowns over there. Is probably what we'll end up doing. Unless you want to talk Lions or any other team and you want a channel, go for it. Specifically Lions. If you want to start podcasting, just let me know. We'll get you in. We'll get you started. So, all right, that's it for today. I can't wait to get, in through our first week. Just like the Lions, is probably going to take us a week or two to finally get this whole new schedule down pat, but we are entering year 3. So we have to make some changes. And since I'm primarily a one-man band, meaning I'm the only one doing all the graphics and the editing and all that stuff, it's a ton of work. So if you know how to do graphics, audio editing, video editing, if you understand stats and how to pull stats and you want to be part of the show, we would love to have you aboard. Just email me, mailbag@rockdown.com. We definitely could use some more hands that are helping us, do certain things. And then if you want to come on to the shows live or do videos or whatever, you just let me know. We'll do that too. So you guys have a good day. Appreciate all of the people in here. Welcome Ornery UVM Dad to the mod crew. And hopefully you have the Voxer link or somebody will send it to you or I'll send it to you when we're done today. Kevin Barr, did not see you in here, but hopefully you're back tomorrow and we'll get you added. Don't worry. There'll be more added this week. All right. That's it. I'm out of here. You guys have a great day. Go and probably go Detroit Lions.